Hell, it's BaseTradeTV.
Good morning, StarCraft fans. It's a bright, brisk 4 a.m. over here on the West Coast, but I'm not alone for once. I am joined by the one, the only, Rotterdam. Hey, dude.
Hello, Riff. It is very, very early over here as well. 1 p.m. Woo! Can't remember the last time I was up that early on a Saturday, but no, feels good to be here. Thank you for asking me. I heard we're gonna cast some StarCraft today, matey.
Bamboozle, it's League of Legends. Psych, got you. Yeah, it's gonna be some sick StarCraft too. We got Soo, we got Solar, we got TY, we got Gumiho. This is, granted, I'm not a big fan of mirror matchups most of the time, but I think I can get past that for these guys.
Yeah, honestly, I think all four of them are really good, and I think all four of them have some interesting stories. I mean, this is a funny time of the year anyway, right? Because on one hand, this is the off season, and on the other hand, I feel like there is something happening every single day. So it's actually kind of interesting to see, you know, who's in shape, who's not, who's working hard. Some of these guys, they play in everything, but then that's also everything they play, right? Like they don't really practice outside of the tournaments they play. So it will be fun to see what kind of skill level they will bring to the table today.
Yeah, and it is, of course, the first Korea group we're getting here for the Ting Open. We've had several North American games play out, but I really want to just clarify this for everybody watching who've been enjoying the North American matches. We had to do this a little differently, just due to player scheduling. We are actually sitting down for like a full group, so it's 5 best of 3s. Oh, damn, we got donations and bits galore. Thank you, guys. We'll get the shout-outs in a second. I want to make sure we got the ball rolling here. The other thing really quick before we get too far into anything today, it's been a little bit of time since I've had a co-caster. I've been stuck with the lion's share of the work soloing. So first off, Roddy, I'm gonna quickly apologize because I got to get back into like duo caster mode here. Secondly, for everybody else, because of that, I also don't have a lot of settings saved. So I did adjust Roddy's audio. It should be okay, but I will be looking for your feedback in the chat. So if you think he's too quiet or I'm too loud or whatever, let me know so I can adjust it. Because, of course, we want to bring you guys the best show that we can today. And I don't want you having some awkward-ass audio to listen to. So please, please, the one time it's okay to complain about sound and not be like, oh God, I hope the mods don't time me out for my opinion, would be like today, because I got to get back into the swing of things. But before we get into anything, we have the first map being hosted. Quick look at the brackets here. Now, I know that the lower bracket's a little messed up. I've spoken to Ting. They're going to fix that, guys. But for now, it is what it is. Soo, I don't know why I was saying so there. Soo versus Solar and Gumiho versus TY. There's going to be 5 best of 3s as stated before. A lot of games, a lot of good matches, and yeah. Kairos Junction is sadly the one map I don't have a sweet intro for, but if you guys have missed out on the memes, Stasis is hot shit right now, despite being a garbage map, and the other two of interest too. Sadly, for the Stasis fans, I will just quickly state, there is no Stasis in this. It was the first map vetoed by Solar.
I think pretty much all the Zergs hate it, and I guess for all the right reasons, but you know, the first week that I played on Stasis, I absolutely despised it as well. I was like, guys, okay, this map is just not good. It's not fun. It's mostly because visually it was very rough on me. But then I taught Berg about Abyssal Reef, and Abyssal Reef was also very hard visually the first week. And then eventually it became a really good map. So I gave it another shot, and I'm not going to say it's a great StarCraft map, but it is a map where you can do some really fun one-off builds, and you can actually have some fun in that way.
I'm really glad you used the word visually when describing Stasis, because I have some very strong thoughts on what I think that map looks like, but we'll save them for later. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ting Open Season 5. This is co-sponsored by Hover, and this is Group 1 for Korea. Kicking things off here in the bottom right, we have the Red Zerg player repping Asterion. We've got Soo.
You want to do both, or is it one-on-one?
Let's do one-on-one. We'll share the work.
All right. On the left top side, we're looking in the main base. The Zerg, who had a great performance at Home Circuit Cup in the beginning. Aced this group, but then unfortunately couldn't pull through in the playoffs. It is Solar.
I love Solar for a lot of reasons, but the two I loved about Home Story Cup was one, yeah, he was like one of the few Koreans that really performed well in his group. And then two, he's old enough to drink now, man. It's so nice.
Solar at Home Circuit Cup is just amazing. I mean, we joke a lot about it on the couch, but he really is almost like a manager, a translator, a player. It is nice that we have Hajin these days, so we don't really need to use Solar for everything, but at a couple of the Home Circuit Cups, he absolutely deserved the MVP award. And I think since, you know, Home Circuit Cup 15 or 16, if you watched that and you saw how involved Solar was with the show and, you know, the well-being of the other Koreans and then trying to make them come across nicely on the stream, I think a lot of Europeans and Americans have followed him ever since and be like, man, how can you not like this guy, right?
You know, one of my favorite things, do you know about how he learned English?
Watching something?
Yeah, just watching TV. He didn't take any classes. He didn't get tutored. He just watched a lot of American TV. And I'm like, bravo, dude. That is amazing for just watching TV. Because there are some players out there, I know, like, Innovation for a while too was being forced to take like some English lessons and stuff way back when he was on like Acer and stuff. Like those guys had to work hard. Solar just like, I don't want to say eased into it, but he got to enjoy, I think, learning English because watching TV is not too bad.
No, but I think that's how it goes in general, right? If you're forced to do something, then it's a lot harder to get good at it. But when you're really enjoying it, then things come naturally as well. So what do you think we're going to see here in this best of three? Is Solar going to be the aggressor, or can we expect some feisty stuff out of Soo as well?
Well, taken away from just the particular players we have at the moment, you know, you've seen a lot of the Europeans taking shots fired at Korean Zerg, and I think the famous phrases like bamboo Korea ZVZ and stuff like that.
Yeah, Korean baboon ZVZ and stuff like that.
Well, it's because it's usually a lot scrappier, and I'm actually, the fact that this is going to 3 bases on each side already, the fact that the timings here have been pretty much in sync, this is already for me a little astonishing, because every ZVZ I've had the, I'm going to say displeasure, but I'm going to say pleasure too, of casting has been, Ling Bailing and not so much Roach Ravager as the other matchups have been. I actually had to cast this really sick game last week with Nurtu and Bly. It went to like Lurker, Ultra, Viper. Like, I love when ZVZs can go that distance, but for Koreans, I gotta say most of these games are probably not gonna be more than 10 minutes, if I had to guess.
I love it when Bly shows us that kind of stuff, because, I mean, more often than not, Bly goes for the rushes, and that's fun and cool and all. That's a lot of Zerglings, by the way, being produced by Soo. It's a few more than I would normally see in this phase in the game. Maybe he can apply some pressure, maybe even cancel the hatchery. We'll see. Well, I mean, he's kind of distracting Solar with the first 2 links. He's still making links, so he's absolutely going to die for the hatchery, and let's see if he can get it.
Well, the key thing here for both, of course, is the idea of a Bailing Nest, so a lot of lings aside, a good Bailing hit can really equalize the numbers here, but Solar's not got the numbers right now. Soo's definitely got the army advantage.
Yep, and Soo's got his Bailings there as well. It's just 2 Bailings against 2 Bailings for now, so all that Soo needs to do is just avoid those Bailings. He can trade Banes for Banes. That's totally up for him.
Going around the rows here with the Banelings, super awkward. I love that he's hugging tight to the hatchery too, so when the Baneling dies, splash damage still hits the hatchery. Decent shot, second Baneling comes out, Solar starts equalizing this and holds on to his 3rd base.
It felt that 3rd Baneling was very late, but somehow saved the day.
Clutch,
because that one actually got the best connection out of all of them, and there is one more. Man, it really felt that was a greedy hold by Solar, because he didn't even really morph too many Banes at once. Maybe he felt that if he would have morphed too many links and he didn't have the link count to begin with, but yeah, pretty clean in the end. Obviously, his hatchery took a lot of damage, and he has to keep an eye on it, but so far, so good.
What's really interesting, too, just to highlight for you guys watching, you know, Soo had to cut some drones early on to do that. Yes, he's caught up now, but a quick peek at the income graph kind of highlights the difference of the last just 2 minutes of the game. And Solar holding on the hatchery means that he's actually definitely ahead. Oh, dancing around, though.
Sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, he's just dancing around right now, trying to find a way into the base. Soo's not letting him in.
Yeah, how do you feel about this map overall, Kairos Junction? Are you a fan?
I like this in Automaton, but I think Port Alexander's my favorite from the season.
Yeah, but Port Alexander is just a good map, right? There's nothing really crazy about it. Like it's
just like a standard map.
Yeah, it's a standard good StarCraft 2 map. I think this one is all right. I kind of like it. The only thing that has me really confused is that, is this a large map or is it medium? Because on one hand, it feels very big, and if you expand towards the corners, then obviously you can expand very far away. But when it goes, like your ramp, obviously from your natural is a little bit further away than your actually natural. But then ramp to ramp, it really doesn't take that long. It's actually very tiny rush distance.
It reminds me a little bit of Bridgehead in that way. Just like it looks much bigger than it is type thing. But that's a bit of a throwback, so I'm not sure how many people watching remember what I just referenced there.
Well, I don't even... I mean, I know the name, obviously, and if I see it, I'm sure that I remember it, but I'm thinking right now. Anyway, Soo's gonna try to maybe pick up a couple of drones here. Does not really succeed in doing so. But obviously, you need to keep an eye on that hatchery if you're Solar, because it is still quite low in HP. Well, are you happy with the transfuse nerf, by the way, Riff?
It's been interesting so far, because there's actually been some funny situations where it's a buff, but overall, a hard nerf for sure. I'll share my thoughts on that in a second, but we have a Spire I just want to quickly highlight too. So there's a real big difference of opinion, I guess we could say, on how to play the CVZ. Solar having gone for Roaches, moving into Hydras, I don't think we'll be too worried about the Spire, but Soo's going to have the ultimate mobility and map control, so we'll see how that trades out. Continues to deal these little bit of run-bys, but they're just not getting damage, it's mostly scouting.
Yeah. And of course, Soo still has that Baneling nest as well. I mean, he scouts the Hydra Den there, right? So that's obviously very nice. A random circling, ending up in the main base, spotting the Hydra Den. Now, the good news for Soo is that he obviously has a Baneling nest already. Oh. And Hydra Lingbane, or Lingbane Muda, can actually do very, very well against the Hydras of Solar.
Yeah, I was oohing and eyeing because I don't know when. Solar actually got a scout off on the Spire though, so he knows that it's a Spire. This isn't even a question. The Overseer's coming back in now to make sure it wasn't like canceled or something. Heads up the main, realizes it's definitely a Spire, and that's where that Hydra production is going to be real nice.
Yeah, there's a couple of Spore Crawlers already in position as well. A lot of Lings are going to run into the main base, and this can maybe deal a little bit of damage. That one Queen is very exposed. Let's see what these Lings get. At least a couple of drones. Oh, that's very nice. I mean, this is a phase in the game where you don't expect a couple of random Lings to do this much damage.
Oh, 6 is pretty nice. Tries to take out the Spore Crawler. That's not going to happen, sadly. This army from Solar is looking really good. I mean, the reality is, like, when it comes to like an actual fight, Solar's going to have the better army, but Soo's not going to play this in a style where he wants to take a head-on engagement. It's all about these run-bys and harassing with mutas and picking off the Overlords and such.
Yep, Solar had his one little run by in the main base as well, and he got a little bit of damage done too, to be fair, but a little less. Just 3 drones and a little bit of lost mining time there as well. Now hey, what do you think about this hatchery? Do you think the Muras can maybe just right-click on that hatch eventually?
I mean, it's still pretty low, right? Sitting at 300 health. That's a pretty easy pick-off, but I don't think he'll be able to be his first target, right? As we can see, Solar's got Spore Crawlers, Hydras. They're spread out really well. I mean, that's a big pick-off if he can pick it off, for sure.
If he would have used a couple of Links to run head first, and then the Muras just right-click on the hatch, then I absolutely believe he would have been able to do it without losing too many forces. But Soo is getting his own Roaches, he's getting his own Banelings as well. He did squeeze in Baneling speed. So funny, because I kept a close eye on the production tab, somehow missed the upgrade. But that's obviously a very, very important upgrade. But now, of course, things get a little more complicated when Solar has Lurkers, right?
Yeah, and I guess some Banelings managed to go kamikaze that third base, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so neither of us got that because it happened so quickly. We were watching the mutas and like Solar just loses out on that third. Of course, he's already taken another base, so it's not the end of the world. Goes for a counterattack. There's some Ravagers to hold from Soo. Lurkers are going to be better in most of these situations. Hydras too, as they stutter in.
He gets one of the Lurkers so far, but he really needs to bring the Mutas home. He needs to have these Lurkers. You cannot fight in range of 3 Lurkers, and these Lurkers are getting awfully close towards the production facilities of Soo right now. It seems like the Muta count is not high enough. These Lurkers, Riff, have put out an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, and the worst part there's like Solar wasn't even focus firing. I think Soo could have handled that maybe a little better, but regardless, GG. Solar will take game number 1.
I want to see the Banelings. We missed it.
We could go deep dive back in. Let me hope do that replay really quick.
It's just 6 random Banelings on the south side of the map. It was kind of lazy by Soo as well. He didn't even roll them into the mineral line. He just got the hatch.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not going to reload that for that. Cerulean Fall will be the next map. I'm going to host this up really quick. But I will say really quick for those who are watching, if you would like to go see those Banelings connect to the hatchery, or just have replays in general for collection's sake, for studying, for making your own content if you want to cast this for YouTube or something. We give out our replays to our subscribers and our Patreon supporters every single time we can. So if you are interested in that, subbing on Twitch is one option. Supporting the Patreon is another. It's cheaper by $1, so there's a little discount there. But yeah, both Patreon and through subscriptions, you can get access to these replays, guys. So if we miss cool moments and you want to be better than the casters and go cast this game and show everyone how it's done, get those replays. But yeah, Cerulean Fall will be the second map coming in. Is there growing an afro? No, this is bedhead, guys. I'm sorry.
I have a quick question for you.
Hit me.
Cerulean Fall, is it a big or a small map?
Is this going to be a constant theme for today? I guess
No.
It's still I want to say a medium to small map. It doesn't feel that big.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially rush distance, right? I had a whole argument with Jeff, and then Jeff does this thing where he makes fun of me for saying that this is a small map. He's like, sure, Kevin, 9 bases. And I'm like, no, like ramp to ramp. If you get 12 pulled on this map, or Speedling on Lint, or Roach Ling on Lint, that's where you know it's a small map, because it really hits pretty fast.
I was gonna say, like, in fairness, I mean, Incontrol will make fun of you for just about anything he can get his hands on, though. So, all right, guys.
For a good show, so.
We got Cerulean Fall. I have an intro for this one, so we'll see you in a few seconds. All right, we're back, and it's game number 2 here for the Ting Open. Now, guys, I'm going to have to do a quick sponsor read unless these guys get a little aggressive. So let's get the intros done so I can get that out of the way. To the bottom left, he is once more from Asterion. Now blue, it's Soo.
And on the right top side, we're looking at the main base of the man who took a 1-0 lead after some steady, calm, and collected gameplay with Lurk, as it is Solar.
Shout out to his team, Infinity Gaming. So yeah, this tournament is, of course, a sponsored event, guys. We're going to have a video or two to play throughout the broadcast. Don't worry, we're not going to bombard you with them. Ting's cool like that. But this is the Ting Open Season 5, and if you're tuning in from the United States, guess what? Ting only services people in the United States. It's the U.S. mobile phone service. Average bills on Ting are $25 or less a month, and you can try them without getting into a contract. They don't do contracts. It's month to month. It's pay what you use. You can even get $25 in credit by going to bttv.ting.com, essentially getting a month for free to try out their awesome service. They also have a savings calculator to let you know whether it's even worth trying them out too. They're a real honest company, and I really enjoy working with them. But the other sponsor you guys might not be so familiar with that we got to really start familiarizing you with is, of course, Hover. Oh, damn. Thank you for the donation, the Omen. Get the shout out in a second. Hover is a domain service, so if you guys like websites and you want to go register some good stuff, do it with getting 10% off by going to hover.com/BTTV. They are co-sponsoring the season and helping make awesome stuff, like me being able to afford to get Roddy for a co-cast.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Come on. Now the people are going to think that you're paying me an insane amount of money, and otherwise I wouldn't have been here. Riff, how many times have I ever said no when you ask me for anything, no matter what you offered me?
Anytime Roddy's available, he's very, very awesome to work with, guys. And I didn't mean that in a way to make it sound bad for you, but it's just great that they give us a budget that we can afford to bring other awesome people onto the cast with. So thank you, Ting. Thank you, Hover. There's the sponsor read. Of course, if you guys want to learn more about them, we do have Hover and Ting commands in the chat. But the last thing I'll squeeze in there real quick is if you type !match rate in the chat, we do have a code. The coupon code is Hover. You can add some money to the prize pool. Please and thank you.
Alrighty, well, I've kept a close eye on the game. I must say you're really good at that, Riff, reading out sponsor segments. You should become a host. Why don't you become the next Kularis, Nathanius, Rifkin?
Because I'm like 100 pounds overweight, Roddy.
Who cares? Everybody looks skinnier on camera. People even think I'm skinny.
That is so not true. The opposite, the literal saying is the camera adds 10 pounds.
I know, but those people lie. Hey, why do you think people want me to take off my shirt? They think I look good? Come on.
Hey, guys, this is a shirt-free shame zone, okay? I don't want to see a single Roddy shirtless meme in chat.
Anyway, I think you did a really good job there. That was smooth. I kept a close eye on the game. Nothing really special happened. Obviously, as the people at home can see as well, these were almost identical build orders. Obviously, every now and then one person makes a set of links or a set of drones. But other than that, it's a very standard ling opening with a baneling nest. We're going up to 3 bases. Evil chambers being thrown down now as well for solar. I mean, it's still a mirage rift. You missed nothing.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I saw them not go for a pull first. I'm like, all right, let's do the sponsors. But this is around the same time last game, Soo started cutting his workers and deep dived into a bunch of lings. He doesn't do it this time. He's got a pretty moderate amount of lings in play, but I am curious what his next round of units is going to be. And I think part of that might have to do with some scouting here. Because he could go heavy into droning if he realizes it's safe, and I think that's kind of what he's doing now. Yeah,
By the way, Rip, are you excited for the building skins coming soon?
I kind of am, actually. I've been hoping for them for a while, but sadly, the type of building skins I was hoping for were more like, I wanted team skins back in the day, right? Like a barracks that has like the Millennium theme colors or something. That's how long ago I wish this thing would have happened. Now Millennium's not even like around anymore.
No, I know. I mean, that's something that a lot of people are wishing for, right? They want to see EG Marines and stuff, so Puma could have blue Marines with a little EG logo on top of it.
That'd be cool.
I remember reading those comments. I still think it's going to be cool. I'm not sure how much I'm feeling the Protoss building skins for now, as we have a little Ling Bane skirmish going on, but obviously neither player really committing to anything here. Like, the thing is though as well, is that I feel often in these trailers when I look at the skins, when it comes to unit skins as well, I'm like, yeah. But then I play with them and it really feels that every unit looks very unique and has its own, you know, distinctive detail and what makes it cool. Because I feel like in the last Watches video, okay, everybody loved the Zerg skins, right? They are out of the video, but you looked at Protoss and Terran and it looked kind of stupid in that announcement video. You're like, okay, so what's different? But then in game, it actually looks really cool. So I don't know. Well, I just like anything that looks new, Riff.
What I'm really looking forward to though is like, you know, there's been some controversy over skins. Oh, I can't tell if the roaches have tunneling claws or not. But with the barracks, it's gonna be pretty just like, okay, it's still a barracks, right? Like, how can you mess that one up type thing? So I'm just glad that they're going for a skin set that's not going to cause a bunch of headache.
I think the funniest thing about that is that in general, I think it's always easy to recognize units. It just has to do with your graphics settings, right? It's only when you play on low and when your camera is not that bright, but especially if you just play on low details, then everything looks the same and then it's very hard to tell. But I think that even goes with the standard version of StarCraft 2 to some degree, but who am I?
I just want to note, by the way, this is the most normal looking ZVZ I've seen Koreans play in a while. And this sounds weird because, like, when would you ever really rag on Koreans? They are the best. But the reality is they are not when it comes to ZVZ. Europe has really got that title belt. And to see them both going Roach Ravager, to see upgrades in macro, the slower play for ZVZ isn't bad and it's not unheard of, but it's just so much less common in Korea. So some cool stuff out of Solar, possibly? He's going for a drop Overlord.
Yeah, maybe just gonna drop a couple of roaches. Oh, that got scouted already by Soo. But I think that is a cool play. That's something you see some of the European Zergs do quite often as well, right? I think Lambo, Elaser, those are the kind of Zergs that really enjoy this kind of stuff as well. And it is something that is very nice because your opponent, obviously, you have to react against it. If you don't react against it, you can lose reinforcements, but obviously you're gonna lose a couple drones very quickly as well, maybe a queen, and things can go from bad to worse. But I mean, Soo should be in a decent position to deal with this because he saw it.
And of course, he double confirms it here with those Banelings catching it. You know, Impact does this a lot too, and I think it's such a low-cost investment that can get a lot of damage done. I mean, it's the equivalent of just getting the tunneling claws to the mineral lines. We've seen how deadly that can be. However, maybe taking a few too many of his roaches away from the defense, Solar's caught here a little unprepared.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this move by Soo. He's absolutely aware of the fact that 8 roaches were in Dropper but now you're still fighting on 2 fronts though, and the reinforcements are obviously joining the battle immediately. The roaches have shown up in the main base, but Soo at least left a couple of units. I didn't mind him trying there. Take a look at these 2 Banelings Rift on the left top side. Baneling Waddle.
Nice.
Okay, that's good. But at the same time, he lost a couple of drones as well on the bottom side to the Baneling drop. Those were not roaches, maybe 2 roaches, but also Banelings. And at the same time, there were still those roaches in the main base as well. I mean, this ZVZ right now is becoming very, very hectic. And now it's all about multitasking.
I just love that leave it to Koreans to make this become go from like boring to like 100 in 2 seconds flat. Because I mean, this one game is kind of like a dull opener. But the thing is, if we're gonna reassess the situation, right? Soo's down a few workers, fine. He's got a 4th base sub. So does Solar. It's a very interesting state of the game because, as we saw, of course, Soo couldn't break Solar. So those 2 Banelings, if they didn't hit, would have been really terrible. Like, Soo would actually be so far behind.
This is getting a little bit ugly as well. That's all of the queens, by the way, for Soo. Soo lost all of his queens. He's got 0 queens out right now.
Well, one just popped, but still, yeah, like that's gonna kill his Injax. That's gonna kill his Larva. If he wasn't already so close to max, this would be a much bigger problem than it is right now. But this could affect his remax too. Like,
and he's down an upgrade, of course, as well. He's down an upgrade. Does he really want to go up this ramp? He managed to kill 5 more drones. I don't know how he did that.
2 Banelings ran in over here to the right side. Sorry for missing that again, guys. I'm going to blame it on the 4 a.m. wake up, but really, I'm just being a shitty observer. We got some corrosive bows looking to land on Solar, who's not moving, so his Ravagers take the big shots there. Ooh,
yeah, but they're a little bit tanky. I think overall the numbers are in favor of Solar, and he's got an upgrade advantage as well. And don't forget that he even has Burrow and Tunneling Claw, so he could maybe save a couple of these roaches and bring them back full HP. I mean, it feels almost that Soo is all in to some degree after losing all these queens as well.
What do you think about that Tunneling Cloud nerf? I know you talked about the Transfuse one. I kind of really like it, to be honest. I thought Tunneling Clouds before was so obnoxious.
Well, I know some Zergs hate it because it makes Mutas a little bit stronger in the matchup, but I don't know. It's not something that I played against very often. I felt like we didn't see it that often for it to really be nerfed. I think that we only ever saw it in ZVZ, and it made for some cool plays in ZVZ, I thought.
Yeah, well, it's just the silly part of it was you'd watch 7 roaches shooting a burrowed roach and couldn't kill it, right?
Yeah, no, it was pretty crazy. It was kind of crazy, but I guess maybe it's good. I don't know.
I mean, they still get a little bit of regeneration with burrows. So, I mean, I'm glad they didn't remove it entirely, but yeah, it's. I'm personally glad to see it gone. I always thought it was like a little too much, but
yeah, it did look silly. I agree with that. I mean, it felt like an underground healing fountain, you know. It's like, who brought these Warcraft 3 mechanics into our game?
Looking to go for the push here, as you said, Soo's pretty dedicated to this. However, Solar comes in with the roaches on the right side. He grabs some of the Ravagers from the back line. That's really key, too, because those are the weak, squishy units, and now Solar's collapsing, and Soo is probably going to die.
Yeah, Soo was actually sending a couple of roaches to the left top side, but he's like, no, I need to bring those back to the fight, but it's already a little bit too late. I really love the way Solar played it out. I felt it was very calm, collected once again, but the moment he saw his opportunity, he seized it, he capitalized on it. And I mean, once roaches get right on top of all those Ravagers, I mean, that's the beginning of the end for the Ravager player.
Let's not forget, too, better money, better income, better injects, better everything for Solar. Going upgrades, too. I didn't even catch you had +1 armor for this. So, like, everything just went so well for Solar. He goes for the counter. Defender's advantage is normally something worth highlighting, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Solar's just got too much of a supply lead.
I mean, Solar is the closest thing we have from a Korean to the European ZVZ, I would say.
It's true.
It's true. With all those European Zerg friends that he has, maybe this is still the product of a European ZVZ. Either way, Solar takes the victory 2-0. Yeah, just a pretty convincing victory. I don't think this was like a spectacular series or a series where we can really talk about for days. It just, they did similar stuff. It just felt that Solar did everything a tiny bit better and a tiny bit cleaner.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got nothing against Soo, right? Like, not looking to take shots or anything like that, but I just, it's ZVZ. I kind of expected him to lose, not because it's Soo, not because of any memes. It's just, that's the nature of what the meta looks like in Korea right now, and Solar's, I guess, more up on it. The key thing, though, is not this so much as who ends up losing in the TVT, right? Who does Soo have to fight to survive the group is going to be the real big question for me. And both TY and Gumiho are terrifying opponents.
That's so good. Do you think the 2 Terrans are favorite to make it out here?
You know what? I want to say maybe, because I love TY. I'm a big TY fanboy. Don't get me wrong, right? But TY has had, from what I've been casting at least, some of the worst performance with the patch. He was the slowest to figure things out too. Like, we did the Elima League and he went mass Ravens in a final, and we're like, oh, does he not know about the lack of damage on the anti-armor missile now? Like, it's one of those things where he's not impressing me so far in the patch, but he is historically like one of the better players in the group, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think in general, whenever you give him like a week and a half, I feel like this patch should be good for both of these guys, no? TY and Gumiho, I mean, I think they're both very comfortable with factory units. I think they're both has shined in the past with these methodical pushes when it comes to, mech play, and sometimes obviously bio and mech at the same time. It feels like this is a patch that is almost made for both of them, at least in this matchup, I would say.
Well, it'll be certainly cool to see who goes up and who goes down, because I think the reality is what I enjoy and I look most forward to for this group, in all honesty, is the winners and the losers match. It's guaranteed TVZs. And I can't speak so much for TVT because I haven't got to cast a lot of that in the patch, but TVZ, whether it's Tasha and Serral, Innovation, Serral, you name it, TVZ has been exciting for this patch, and I've really enjoyed it. The Battle Cruiser openers, they're so ridiculous. The mines too, yeah. So we'll see how this plays out, but guys, we are going to get the players to do some vetoes, so while they do that, we're going to just go to our first commercial break of the day. And Roddy, by the way, if you haven't seen our commercial screen, you should totally turn the stream on for a moment just to see it. We'll be back soon, guys. Thank you very much for watching. More of the Ting Open when we get back. Hey guys, we are back. Well, our faces will be back in a moment. I'm just getting the lobby sorted. But this is the brackets. This is what you've missed so far. A 2-0 for Solar sends them to the winners match, and of course Soo to the losers. However, again, unlike the previous, with North America, we had to cut it up section by section. We are casting all of these matches today, all of the best of threes. When the day is done, you will know who has moved on to the round of 16. You will know who has been eliminated from the tournament. And we should highlight really quick too, for those who haven't been following too closely, top 16 people get paid out a prize for this tournament. It's proportionate to the prize pool too, so the more money we raise, the more money these players will get. 16th place is worth 1%, and at about $5,000, that's about $50. Not too bad for what, 2 best of 3s, something like that.
Not
But
bad at all. First, I thought you wanted me to play today, by the way. I didn't know what you were doing. I was like, oh my God, Riff's got another crazy Saturday plan because you come in my channel yesterday. You're like, hey, Roddy, are you available between 1 and 3 tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, but I've been playing like an absolute baboon. So hopefully we don't have to embarrass myself on the big stage right now.
well, you get to embarrass yourself in a different way on the big stage now.
Oh, never. This is always an A+ performance.
Yeah, actually, I would have. It was fun because you played in, what was it, the People Images tournament or whatever we did earlier in the year. No, this was actually, I had someone lined up to co-cast, and then something came up, and I'm like, well, Roddy's going to be hopefully available. He's the go-to guy. I will admit, though, before we get into this.
I'm your booty call for casting.
Well, actually, hang on. I was about to explain this, right? I kind of see you as, because, like, I'm not sucking up here. You do a lot of streaming, you do a lot of your own grinding. Sometimes I just feel like it might not be worth it for you to come join me, right? So I'm hesitant to ask because I don't want to waste your time type thing. Even though I know that's not going to be how you view it, that's still, like, in my head, right? So it's not a backup thing. It's more like, I know you're doing your own thing. Respect, I guess is what I'd call it.
Even though I sit in the same room, for me joining you is still like a change of scenery, right? Because it's just different. It's a different vibe than sitting in your own channel. And as much as I love playing and casting on my own channel, or I don't really cast that much on my own channel, but as much as I love playing and just streaming in general, at one point it really becomes very repetitive. And I think it's always good to switch it up. And, you know, if you can have some fun with someone else, sit on voice chat for a couple hours, watch some games together. I think it's something that I always enjoy. Whether it's like it's worth it or not, I don't really see it like that. I just think it's fun, and I think that's why I'm always happy when you ask me, Riff.
I'm always happy when you accept. But ladies and gentlemen, let's hop in the game. It's map 1 of a fresh best of 3. You're watching the Ting Open, round of 32 for Korea. Spotting to the top left, he is Soo Gaming's Blue Terran player, Gumiho.
You think he's playing with the towel on his mouth right now?
I would hope so. I have a Soo towel, actually.
On the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of one of the most accomplished Terran players we've ever had in StarCraft 2. It is TY.
Of course, he's playing for one of my favorite teams, Splice. Shout out to those guys. And I love this. This is just Terran in a nutshell right now. Can't seem to keep it in their pants. They can't seem to stay at home. So, of course, TY is scouting for those proxies, which Gumiho has not gone for. But to be honest, both of these guys are just as likely to proxy the other, even if it's just like a One Reaper opening type thing. However, before we get too far in the game, I got a lot of shoutouts we got to get caught up on because we had some big love. Papa Miss just now, thank you for the 55-month resub. Django comes in for 12. Roy Kyle donated $5 to say, on the 3rd day of Solstice, a true fan gave to me 3 proxy racks, 2-minute ads, and a tier 3 monthly sub. I probably did that terrible justice, but thank you for that nonetheless. And then Lee Omen donated $50. He says, will you keep your hair this way for the stream? Thanks. No. Hopefully that catches us up. If I missed anybody, just let me know in the chat. We'll get you shouted out. Thank you guys for that support, and hopefully enjoy the show today.
I think these openings are quite standard. Macfield accelerated, by the way. Wow, and he's sending out his barracks almost immediately. Now, Gumiho is going for the very standard Reaper, Halley, and Expand. It's like, I don't play a lot of Terran, but I like to play it a little bit in the beginning of my day. I know this opening. I'm really curious to see how TY's opening does against it.
Right, what Gumiho is doing is a little bit more normal. TY is absolutely playing off the charts with this. Macfield Accelerator rushed out is one thing, but the floating barracks is a very important other. That's the high ground vision, so you're not burning scans to see what you want to shoot. But like at the same time, there's not going to be any units to the Macfield Accelerator to work on.
This? I feel like Gumiho can easily dive on that Cyclone and just kill it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What? What? Okay, so TY actually picks up one of the Hellions. Where are you going, TY? Okay, no, you're trapped. I mean, that Cyclone is dead, isn't it? It must be dead.
Oh, he doesn't stop the SCV building the command center either. Oh, he gets trapped to the ramp by Gumiho's SCVs!
It's crazy army movement by TY to go that far into enemy territory, and especially after he saw those units in the middle of the map with his barracks, he still dove in deeper into that natural. That's really crazy to me.
Huh. Yeah, I like it. The concept of TY's opening is one that not only beats but wins out against someone else who also goes for a Cyclone opening, right? Like, I can see why he did what he did. But Gumiho didn't go for a Cyclone opening, so what TY ends up doing is just like the worst thing he could possibly do. It's a huge expensive investment that's not paying off.
Gumiho shouldn't reveal this medevac, by the way. And I don't think he did. I mean, this can get a little bit dicey, because obviously TY can potentially do a lot of damage in the main base. I mean, there is a tank, and if that tank just gets 1 or 2 shots off, Riff, this is going to be a very explosive game. I think both players are going to take some losses. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but that's where the SCVs come into play. Brought those to repair. He's got the barracks for the vision. He could lock onto the tank and kill that tank faster than it can kill the Cyclones. He does have mag-filled accelerators after all, folks.
No, he will do that, but he's also going to end up losing probably 14 SCVs at home, because there's a Hellion drop and a Reaper drop into the main base of TY.
What a weird combo of units. 3 and 2. This is Cyclone. One Cyclone that's going to take a long time to clean this up. It would eventually, but looks like the other Cyclones were killed by the tank while this went on, so this just goes poorly for TY in every regard.
Yeah, he got one of the tanks, but there was another tank that came out. I mean, he lost 10 SCVs up to this point, which obviously is really bad, guys. But I actually thought it was going to be a little bit worse, because often when a drop like that shows up in your main base and you're just not in any position to deal with it,
He's gonna lose the barracks, and if he does this, then he can't build another orbital. He'll have to rebuild the barracks. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Do you think he's gonna drop a mule to save it? No, right? He just rebuilt the barracks.
Yeah, I mean, the mule will be like losing 270 minerals. Just spend the 150 building a new one, right?
But I mean, I think TY is kind of dead, isn't he? Because his opening really hasn't paid off at all. He has took some economic damage. I mean, I like what he's trying to do with these Cyclones. It's really cute, but it's just not working out. And obviously, Gumiho wasn't born last night. He knows how to deal with backfield accelerated Cyclones.
I mean, the thing we should really highlight, TY went for something about as equally cheesy as doing Proxy Reapers, if we're going to be brutally honest, right? So I think in a lot of scenarios, this works and it looks broken. But in this scenario, it looks so bad because it was shut down so quickly by Gumiho.
Yeah, and especially the first Cyclone. With any of these openings, I mean, TY is going to be able to get the Raven there. That's cute and nice and all, but is there an answer against all of these Marines and tanks? If you ask me, there is absolutely not. I think...
Pull the SCVs and pray.
Yeah, I guess you can maybe use Interference Matrix on the tanks and then try to surround it with your SCVs.
He doesn't have enough, though.
Tank on the high ground. Tank on the high ground for TY. Miraculous hold.
Auto turrets, interesting. Not going to cut it, though. Tank on the high ground is nice, but, I mean, 16 more SCVs died. We know how that's going. Ladies and gentlemen, Gumiho will take game 1 in this best of 3.
Yeah, I think with any of these openings, it doesn't really matter what you do, right? Whether if it's, let's say, like a Void Ray all-in with shield batteries, or in this case, Cyclone all-in with backfield accelerator, the first unit is key. Because all of these builds, they need to snowball, right? And of course, TY is expanding. But this is still a massive investment because he's also sending his barracks to the other side of the map. So he barely has any units. So the first and the second unit are key. Those are the units that need to do that initial damage. And from that point on, it can maybe snowball even out of control where, like you said, it can look broken. Or at least you're even or maybe a little ahead. But if you donate your first unit of your big investment, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of an all-in you're doing or what kind of a pressure build you're doing. At that point, it just feels like your entire build is dead. He just gave it away.
Well, folks, we're hopping to game 2. It's going to be on Cerulean Fall. Big thank yous to Fishy, or Fish-I-I-I, 1337 for the 25 months. Papa Mitch rocked that 55-month sub we shout out earlier. Roy Kyle comes in with 33. Says, Roddy, can you give us a good rat-a-tat? Don't do it. Got Nugs, thank you for the 15. And then Phlogiston just now for 6 months. Thank you guys all for that long-term support. And again, just that casual advertisement / reminder, whether you're watching this on YouTube later or watching it live with us on Twitch, if you want access to the replays of this, you can get them through either subscribing to the BaseTradeTV channel or you can get them by supporting the Patreon. So again, if you
am I on camera right now, Riff?
Yes, sir.
Can you see this?
Oh, fuck off. Get out. Leave. Connection's breaking up, Roddy. It's not looking so good.
That is so funny that somehow yesterday somebody asked me, he's like, hey, Roddy, were you into Pokemon when you were a child? And I was like, well, yeah, obviously I was. Like, did you collect? I was like, yeah, I've got a massive collection. They're like, show us. So I've got this book next to me laying on the ground that I showed off. While you're talking about Eradicate, I opened the book and the first card I see is the, well, it was already open, but literally it fell off a page. I was like, here's the card. I was like, okay, well, that's the best you get out of me, guys.
It haunts me to this day. But okay, folks, skipping that intro, hopping right into game, we have game 2 of this TVT. Spawning in the top right side of the map. He's got 1 point on the board. Oh, whoops, I gotta put that there myself. We got 1 point on the board. It is gonna be the blue Terran player from Soo Gaming. It's Gumiho.
And on the left bottom side, representing Rift's favorite team and my favorite hoodies from a team, it is on the left bottom side, Splice's very own TY.
Actually, what's kind of crazy, I just realized, is I don't have a lot of like team paraphernalia, and oh, TY's going for a proxy. But I do actually have a hand towel from Soo Gaming, branded Soo Gaming, and I have a hand towel from Splice that I picked up at this recent BlizzCon, branded Splice. So for me, it's the battle of the hand towels.
What? Why? Why do you end up with the hand towels?
Well, for Gumiho, for Soo made sense. They got Gumiho, right? Like that's kind of the meme. But like, I don't know. Splice had like a after party at BlizzCon, and they were giving out towels and stuff. So I've just got this yellow towel with the Splice logo on it.
What day was that? Why was I not invited?
I don't know. You're probably still casting when it was going on. It was kind of earlier, but yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, I've got 2 hand towels. I don't have like a lot of t-shirts. There's not really any jerseys to buy. Like, I got a friggin' Storm and a Splice towel, and then I'm glad I do because it's about to get sweaty here with this double proxy.
Ooh, smooth Rift. You know what? The last thing I'll add to that is that if I can get my hands on a Clash Gaming hand towel, I'll make sure that I'll hand it to you the next time I see you. But I don't know if we have those.
Yeah, the guys from Clash are pretty cool. I know you've recently, of course, joined with them, but I've run into the owner at about 3 or 4 different events now. He's just like the nicest guy.
Yeah, they're both really, really cool dudes. That's why I was one of the main reasons why I felt really good about, you know, potentially working with them. Obviously, I casted a tournament for them last year, and I was like, you know, this could be a one-off. But after, you know, dealing with them, I was like, man, this organization is really cool. I want to be part of them. Want to do stuff together. Anyways, let's talk about these 2 barracks. For some reason, Gumiho has still not seen this. It couldn't be any closer to his base. Now, he is playing very safe, of course. It is the Reaper Hellion, but he needs to react very quickly. That one Reaper is so close to die. Oh my goodness.
That grenade actually bought him a few very precious seconds. It allows him to get to the mineral lines. They'll have to pull about 3 to 4 SCVs to hold this. When the Hellion's out, of course, it's a little bit better, but the first Hellion's never the strongest. It's the second Hellion that matters the most. So this Hellion has to make sure not to die to these Reapers.
That one SCV is on the low ground. It's like, okay, probably not going to be able to expand right there. One Reaper is so low on HP, and Gumiho does get the kill. Really, wow. Gumiho's micro is so sick. He gets all of these Reapers and is not able to save this, but I still think that's a very good trade for Gumiho.
Oh, the fact that he saved that Hellion is huge, though. As you just highlighted, like in TVT, it's not the one Hellion that's so scary. Reapers beat one Hellion. Reapers have a much harder time with 2.
Look at this Rift. He doesn't even care anymore. He knows that he bought some time for himself by resetting the Reaper count. He's just
so sick.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like TY is somehow expecting this, but he's still going to end up losing maybe a couple of SCVs.
Funny enough, it's not like worth really stopping for that one SCV. Gets over to the main base now. Thank you for the $5. We'll get that shout out in a second, guys, because this could be game ending damage, possibly. No, never mind. One Hellion's not that scary. But this was a great way to bring the Reapers home, because now they're not providing more pressure. Gumiho gets to more comfortably build his CC faster than TY's. What a wild response to this opening. I like it.
The only thing I'm maybe not a fan of is that Gumiho right now is in the middle of the map with that Reaper and the Hellion. I think it's a little bit risky, even though he gets another Reaper, so I guess I should just shut up. It does work out greatly. No, you're spot on. Very explosive, but Gumiho's micro was so good. He gave TY the feeling multiple times, like, hey, this Reaper right here is about to go down. And then it didn't go down. Oh, he's diving that ramp a little bit risky, but oh my goodness, his micro is unreal. What the hell?
Wow, and the grenade hits once again. Gumiho looking fantastic. For those who don't know, by the way, just a small fun fact, Gumiho was actually not part of this originally. Keen won his spot through a qualifier, but then couldn't play the actual group dates. So Gumiho is a replacement player. And with Thermal and many others, the replacement man aspect is just giving players a lot of power. It's a dumb meme, but like replacement players seem to kick the most ass. And Gumiho so far is living up to the legacy of the replacement man.
Gumiho is looking phenomenal so far in this series. I know this game is only 5 minutes old, and you can say that this is still a very close and even game. I just really love the way that Gumiho is playing this so far. It feels like he's in control. It feels like he's cleaner. He's reacting to things quicker. And his micro, it's nothing but spectacular.
Feeling like he's in control, so what, he's snapping off a bunch of sarcastic jokes while he's playing the game?
Pretty much, no. He's owning, man. He's absolutely owning TY so far. Jeez.
I think the really highlight-worthy thing is not, okay, he's winning these battles, it's the way he's winning them, and that's what you're trying to bring up, right? Like, his control, the micro, the Reaper, the grenades, he's nailing it.
I'm kind of shocked. I expected a little more of TY. You said already before that so far he hasn't looked that great yet in the patch. Maybe he's experimenting, maybe he's just doing a little bit of everything, but I mean, he's sending out this medevac right now with the 2 Cyclones. It's very risky as well. He does lock on the Cyclone of Gumiho, and he gets the kill, so this is actually kind of cool for TY. Finally gets something going his way. But other than that, it's just been a very rough series for TY.
I think TY, by the way, is going to do a lot better than TVZ. I think this just comes down to TVT.
This drop is hurting quite a bit as well. I mean, there are a couple of Cyclones out, and the Cyclones will eventually obviously take care of this. Good micro there by TY as well, saving his Cyclone. This was nice. I mean, loses 6 SCVs, but still good micro.
6 SCVs, and more notably, had to pull all of the rest off of mining. So a huge loss of income while that's going on. And in a mirror matchup, where your opponent, this is basically Gumiho's lead. That attack gave Gumiho this base. This is the advantage he's earned over TY. Well, I guess TY has this one, so I take that back. I didn't realize he built a 3rd CC.
TY is obsessed with Cyclones right now. I mean, he doesn't have mech field accelerated this game, but once again, he's got 3 Cyclones. He seems very, very happy to just fly around with a medevac, have a couple of Cyclones inside of it, and then randomly drop and undrop and try to lock on a couple of targets. Like, maybe if he drops right next to the tank here, but without mech field accelerator, he's not going to be able to do that much here, right?
Well, I mean, they'll still do a lot. But I think one of the key things is, like, to his playstyle, while we haven't seen a lot of great micro to him, and we've been talking about Gumiho, TY is a player who's... Oh my god. That was nice.
I mean, he's trapped now. I mean, that medevac's gonna go down as well to the Vikings.
Oh, if you got the Raven, this might have been a little more worthwhile. Raven lives, though. Viking survives. Yeah, this wasn't so good. But the point I was going to make, though, is I think TY is very much a micro player. He's always impressed us a lot with his micro over the last, well, forever. So Cyclones make sense for his play style, but I just don't think they make sense for where the matchup is right now. Or at least this particular game.
It also feels weird to me that TY is the one who's going for a mech-based play here with the double armory, extra factories being slapped down as well, while Gumiho on the other side of the map is like, no, actually I'm totally okay with playing bio here. And we all know that Gumiho loves his mech. I mean, I think if you think of a mech Terran player right now, other than obviously Avillo, you think of Gumiho. But it's TY actually the one who's busting out the mech here. And I don't know.
You gotta put $1 in the Avillo jar, dude. You can't say that here. Get out.
I will do that.
I'm just teasing, but you're right. Gumiho's been definitely, I think, historically a mech player. But I'm just thinking back on it, and I wonder how much of that's been applied to TVT, because maybe back in HOTS more so than Legacy of the Void, but Legacy of the Void has been so heavy on, like, well, if it wasn't a Cyclone opening, if it wasn't a Banshee opening, it always still led to, like, Marine Tank, right? Like, as the core combo here. And I think Gumiho, and actually Special, funny enough, too, are players who, when they do play mech and they can get to that late game with it, they look unstoppable. Actually, the more I think about it, I think I've seen Special play more mech TVT than Gumiho, which is an odd thing to say.
Yeah, Juanito obviously quite known for it as well. And I mean, I think it helps that in the European scene or in the Western scene in general, there aren't that many mech players. So I think if you are incredibly good with mech, it becomes really frustrating for their opponents, right? Because how are you supposed to be good against a style that you don't play against that often? And whenever you do play against it, you play against somebody who's far inferior to Special. So then you think you're good against a certain playstyle, but you're actually not. Now, I still think that TY is in trouble this game, guys. I think he's been in trouble all game long, ever since Gumiho straight up out-microed him in the beginning of the game with the Reapers and the Hellions. But let's see, maybe TY can hold. I have a couple of spikes, by the way. I don't know if you're having the same. But...
Welcome to Korea, Roddy. It sucks. I'll explain that after the game. The air control's key here, though. He kills the Raven. The Vikings can land, and deal bonus damage for some mechanical. The Raven comes in, too, for some badass. This is dead. This is over. Rest in peace. GG. One thing I thought was kind of cool, though, potentially, is I realize now Cyclones are way better anti-air against things like Liberators, because Liberators would destroy a lot of mech players in these games, forcing that weird, like, 5-star port, 9 Viking production, like, But yeah, Cyclones actually changed it up, so that might not be so necessary anymore. Either way, GG's. Gumiho takes the 2-0. He'll advance on.
Very well deserved, I think. Gumiho just looked better, man. Like, he really looked on point. I thought I often feel like you set the pace with one of your first moves in a best of 3, right? And that very first move of TY to send his Cyclone in game 1 that deep into the natural while you're opening up with something as expensive as 2-3 Cyclones and Neckfield Accelerator. I mean, to me, that was crazy. That was literally the beginning of the end, I felt.
Well, guys, we have the brackets updated, so here we are. We're going to be doing the losers match first, just as a heads up. So it will be Soo versus TY. Just get these vetoes going here in a second. But, man, oh man, got some subs coming in too. Ali, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. Is that Mr. Gameheart himself, or is that somebody else with a similar name? Malvex as well, thank you for the 8 months. And then Stimfano, great name, donated $5 to say, it's hard-earned money, don't spend it on burgers. Don't you worry, man. Me and Roddy will spend that money on something much more delicious. I will take us to our first sponsored ad break of the day, though, guys. This is not really... Actually, it's funny. It's not even that much of a sponsored video. It's almost more like a YouTube vlog. But this is a video we did with Ting, not this year at TwitchCon, but last year at TwitchCon. So enjoy it. We're going to get the vetoes sorted, and it'll be Soo versus TY when we get back.
TwitchCon is a 3-day event to celebrate everything Twitch TV, which is a website where you can watch pro gaming tournaments, entertaining streamers, real-life streams, artistic streams, pretty much everything to do with live streaming.
So esports is the competitive side of video games. It's where Twitch mostly got started through StarCraft esports. People compete from all over the world in tournaments. They're brought out to play on the big stages. It's a crazy industry.
I got into streaming when I got StarCraft 2. Shortly after, I had friends that would stream, so I figured that I'd give it a go. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of a miracle.
I would spend most of my shifts watching people play games on YouTube, and I thought, I could do that. So I did that.
It's completely changed the way that I live. I work full time. It's my 100% job. It's just a magical thing that we have now in the modern day.
I really like the fact that I get to have a fan base and interact with them on the regular. It's cool being able to share content to thousands of people.
So we brought BaseTradeTV here because they've been running Ting-sponsored StarCraft 2 tournaments alongside us for the past 2 years.
Well, like, we've never really heard of Ting, but we wanted to hear them out. So we got taken to their offices and basically planned out a tournament. It went really well, so we had another one, and now currently at the time of this interview, we're in Ting Season 4.
Last season, Season 3, we actually had a live finals in California. It was at Corsairs headquarters. It was a blast.
Honestly, it's not too crazy. They don't have a lot of requirements. They just want us to hang out with the fans, tell them our genuine opinions about working with Ting. And it's easy to do because we really like working with Ting.
Ting's an awesome company. I'm really glad they're here working with Twitch and working with esports, and I hope they continue to do so.
They both use Ting. They both know a lot about Ting, and they've done a great job of representing Ting on Twitch TV, and they're one of our most valued partners, I would say.
Hey guys, we're back, but only for a moment. We're still getting things sorted with the players, and we have the vetoes. We'll get the host up. However, I do want to quickly, before we jump to another set of ads briefly before this game gets going, highlight that my good pal Wardy is also streaming right now another great tournament. The 2018 has left the game. They got players like Ragnarok, Max said, Bunny, Innovation. By the way, that's why Gumiho's here instead of Innovation, because Wardy stole him, son of a bitch. Ragnarok and others. So there's another really great tournament going on while we're casting our tournament. Definitely recommend checking it out, but we're going to have some breaks before we get this series going. So it is going to be Soo versus TY in about 2 minutes. Thanks for watching.
I'm your statue, your heart is a magnet, I'm coming at you. Girl, you're my target, I'm aiming at you. You're a comet, I'm trying to catch you. We can break any rule they ever taught you. Forget about anything they ever bought you. Cause me and you don't need a lot in this world to get by. Plus you know I got you, you pull me in. I don't resist, time seems to fly but the clock doesn't tick. I crash into you, we both feel the hit. We both feel the way that our chemicals mix. And I wish that I just keep my eyes shut. Maybe this time it'll be enough. So I need the dark. Without you here, I would never see the stars. I'm headed for you. Foot on the gas. I'm coming straight at you, no looking back.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's game number 1, and as you heard Roddy kind of mention there's a proxy on the way, so let's get these intros done quickly. To the top right here in the losers match, this is sadly the elimination series. We have Splice's Blue Terran player TY.
And in the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the man that is representing the Dutch organization, Asterion. It is our one and only Soo.
Guys, if you...
This opening. What? What are these openings against each other with? So
oh, it's a 3-racks. This is okay. So there's a huge difference in the way you deal with this. And what he's gonna do is put his third barracks so far away from the first two in case he gets scouted. This is so clever. Actually, we saw Soul at Home Strike Up get away with this too. Because the difference is if it's a 2-racks, you can pull drones. If it's a 3-racks, you need spines. However, because Soo's not doing conventional methods and he's not going for a hatchery, he's rushing out a roach. I don't know which wins in this situation. Like, whose cheese is greater?
I actually have no... I mean, obviously, the main base of TY is going to be incredibly exposed. But roaches don't really have that much micro potential against a couple of Marines. And this is not going to be a couple of Marines. It's going to be an insane amount. Ravagers, can a Ravager outrange a Marine? You micro it perfectly? I guess it can, right?
Well, there's that, and Ravagers don't need speed. They get speed. So it's something where you actually could micro this a little bit better than you could with roaches, for example. But I think head-to-head, the roaches should win. There'll be so few Marines, at least initially.
Yeah, I mean, TY shouldn't reveal it immediately. Obviously, the Overlord is about to scout it soon.
Oh, he's like, wait, there's no hatchery. Fucking red alert, dude.
Yeah. I mean, what does he do right now? He scouts and he spots roaches. TY, what are you going to do? I mean, he needs to get a lot of Marines. I feel like the one way he could maybe win is if he squeezes in a sandwich, right? He needs to somehow collapse on these roaches and Ravagers. If he just reveals where his units are, I think he's never going to win. But yeah, if he can maybe sandwich the units in a very awkward way, I don't know. This seems rough with TY. Very, very, very rough.
I'm just thinking the best case scenario. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, what do you think about Soo going to the other side of the map? I feel like Soo should have maybe just defended.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because TY could actually base trade this, right? In a worst case scenario, he just lifts his buildings.
Yeah.
Like he could actually just kill every building of Soo.
Okay, I think that Soo made a mistake. I think Soo should have probably kept at least one more unit. He does have a Roach and one Ravager, but that's not going to be enough. There's no Queen to buy time either. Okay,
oh my god, I didn't even put that together. Jesus. I mean, Ravagers, as we can see, they got the range, they got the speed, they can deal with the Marines. But it's one Ravager, right?
Yeah, he's bringing him back all the units home right now. So another Roach, another Ravager about to show up. And now obviously these Ravagers do have the micro potential that these Marines do not. Marines are trying to get close. And, well, they actually get a Roach. These Ravagers are low.
Oh, speaking of the Korea spikes from before, guys, I'll highlight what just happened there in a moment, but I think this is game over. Because Soo's got way too much to deal with. You can't surround. It's always dangerous. Kurosawa's could land and kill a lot of SCVs. GG.
Yeah, that was sweet. Whew, I was a little bit worried there that Soo sent too many units to the other side of the map because he only had a single Ravager at home and no Queen. But yeah, the micro on that Ravager was good enough. The other Roach bought a little bit of time. And then I guess Soo, for safety measures, brought home one more Ravager, and that's all he needed. So well done.
So real quick, guys, you're going to see some moments like that throughout the cast today. I should probably highlight this really quick because unfortunately there's an issue with the Korean servers. Blizzard is fully aware of it, but they've also basically stated it's not a high priority for them to fix right now, which kind of sucks. So we can't guarantee every game's going to look buttery smooth. Sometimes it's going to just look choppy or there'll be a weird spike. It doesn't affect the players. It doesn't affect other casters. It literally just affects like the person it's affecting. It sucks. And unfortunately, it's the way to dance around it. So just be aware, your broadcast, my broadcast, none of that's messing up. It's just an in-game thing we can't avoid. But I just looked at the full maps that they've given me for this, and every series so far has been a combination of Blue Shift, Kairos, and Cerulean Fall. This is really interesting because in North America, it was Stasis, Port Alexander, and Kairos. Sometimes
everybody
Automaton.
played Stasis?
We had more Stasis maps than I expected. We had like 3 or 4 Stasis maps in the North America group.
Yeah, it's really weird. We don't see any Port Alexander. It's such a good standard map. Sorry, I had a lobby bug again. I did accept, mate. I just had a lobby bug. But yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me because Port Alexander is a very fine, standard, straight-up map. I feel like it's a better version of Blue Shift, where, of course, Blue Shift plays out a little bit different. And I can understand that maybe the Terran players like Blue Shift, but I don't know. I find Blue Shift, honestly, it's just Catalyst sideways, and I've played enough Catalyst in my life. Like, Catalyst was a really good map. I'm just tired of it, and I don't need to play it sideways for another year. Like, I'm done. I'm over Blue Shift.
Well, I'm somewhat in agreement with you, but I am just curious because it's not like these guys are in cahoots. It's something where they are all just individually vetoing in such a way that it leaves 3 pretty standard maps. And across most seasons, those 3 maps are usually the same in all regions. The fact that it's so drastically different really surprises me, but I guess we'll deep dive more in a moment. It's game 2, ladies and gentlemen. He lost pretty hard with a quick proxy. We'll see if he's bold enough to do it again. This is the Elimination Series, and on his last life, to the bottom right, we have the Blue Terran player, TY.
TY is playing like how I would play if I'm incredibly hungover. Just crazy stress every single game and just be like, all right, let's get this over with. You know, I'm not feeling that well. Anyway, on the left top side of the map, we look at the man of the main base, representing Asterion. This time he's not opening up some crazy Roach Ravager opening. It is Soo.
You know what I really like about Asterion, Roddy? Why they're one of my favorite teams?
Tell me.
They subbed to the channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is, yeah, I guess I want to call TY crazy for doing it again, but if we can really just bring it to brass tacks, guys, the 3 racks does work, and it does work against players who play standard. That was so beyond awkward because who expects a Zerg player to do a 1 base Roach Ravager attack like that? It just doesn't happen.
No, not very often anymore. Elaser used to do it all the time a year and a half ago, and it was all the rage on a couple of those very tiny maps, right, where even if Terran Nude was coming, it was really hard to hold. You have to get the bunker, the Cyclone, you have to repair perfectly. I don't even know how well it would do against the Neo Cyclone. I guess the Neo Cyclone is a little bit better in dealing with that kind of stuff. Even though it's a lot more fragile, it does have the range. But anyway, that doesn't matter. What does matter is that Soo went for a hatchery first this time. So let's see how good his defensive is going to be when he doesn't have like a straight up build order advantage.
The big question is, what does he do to react to this first SCV? He's going to see the bunker. And if he pulls the drones, then TY is probably going to win this game. If it's just 2 Marines, pulling the drones is a perfectly acceptable response, and in some cases it's okay here too, but realistically, spines need to already be building.
So Soo knows, but he's not really reacting to it yet. I think he's just going to wait for maybe Queens, and then as many links as possible, and then no, he drops the Roach Ward, okay.
Ravagers are a really good way to break this too. But
mostly.
It's going to cost him the hatchery just in the time it takes to get them out and play, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
SCV's getting a little low. Save him. Nice.
Maybe he feels like that's an acceptable trade. I mean, you build 3 barracks on the other side of the map, you make this many Marines early on, you obviously don't have stim. I'm just going to go for... No, he cancelled the Roach one. The Roach one was a fake out. He's going to try to break this with nothing but links, drones and Queens. I kind of like that. All right, this is going to be really exciting, Rick.
Yeah, he scouted the roach horns, but I didn't put down the extra bunkers. He's only got the one bunker, so you can actually surround this with the lings now. This, oh,
Here we go. That's awesome. What a smart move by Soo. He will get the instant route. He has both queens as well. He really barely has lost any drones so far. Speed is finishing up as well. He gets the surround. Well, sort of, to some degree. But this is good enough, right? Oh, man. Amazing.
Especially when Ling speed kicks in, he'll be able to clean this up a lot better. As you can see, he's kind of struggling against the last couple Marines. But Soo, I mean, he did pull a lot of workers and had a lot of mining missing for that attack. So he's definitely hurting.
Yeah, he's hurting, but if he gets one spine right now, a safety spine, it's 100% over. I thought that was a 200 IQ big brain gaming play.
Oh, I didn't build a factory on the other side of the map. Oh, no. There's no production hold this. All the Marines have to walk back home.
Look at this one ling. This one ling of Soo is going to delay this command center forever.
Oh, he runs in the main base for that confirmed scout too. Sees the gases, or gas singular more notably.
TY doesn't have a wall off yet. There is a good chance that these links, with speed finishing up right now, these links could potentially just run into the main base.
That's what I'm saying. There's no factory that was built to plug the wall, right? Like, it's the barracks floating home, and they're so far away.
Okay, well,
he's got to pull
bunker
SCVs.
Okay, so he's gonna link flood. This is a tiny bit risky. I mean, as long as he gets the CC, he's obviously good, but I've seen people throw away massive leads because of this, but I think that TY simply doesn't have enough units here. That's a really good fight for Soo, who's gonna be able to pick up the Marines. He's gonna get all the SCVs, and just like that, he's gonna win the best of 3.
I mean, like, what really bothers me there, right? I'm just gonna rewind here for 1 second. I know you can't see this, but like, TY could have built his command center part of the wall. He could put a factory up sooner. Like, I guess not with his gas, but like, he built it back here. His factory's building by his command center, like in the main base. I'm very confused what happened with TY in this tournament, but he is out. That's it. He's eliminated. He's the first player gone from Korea. Which is shocking to me, because TY, as we talked about, should have been, like, on paper, one of the favorites to get out of the group, but that goes back to me being a bit of a naysayer, because, I don't know, he's just not looked that great lately.
No, you were spot on about that. Today, it definitely did not seem like peak performance TY, right? It seems like he was freestyling a little bit. It seems like he was being overly aggressive, especially because I really feel that this is a patch that should suit him quite well. And I'd love to see him go for some of those more macro-oriented builds in the future. But I guess for now, he simply lacked the confidence or just wasn't really in the mood for it. I do want to give a massive shout out to Soo, though, because the way that Soo did that in game 2, dropping that roach ward, you know, I was really confused about it, because I was like, if he wants to go Ravagers here, why is he still researching speed, right? And I think that was a massive tell, because I have the feeling that if you really want to get those Ravagers out as quickly as possible, a Zerg play would always cancel speed there, because every single bit of gas counts. But he let it go on. I was confused about it, but he just faked TY out, and then he got the surround with the links, the queens, the drones. I thought it was a really, really smart move by Soo, so well done by him.
Yeah, I messaged Soo, by the way. I'm just like, you equals genius. And he just gave me like a really cheeky smiley face in response. A lot of the mind games in StarCraft 2, they're bigger and more obvious. That was such a subtle one that I actually, if you didn't put it in, I wouldn't have even caught what he did there. Like, that was so clever.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, guys, sadly with TY being eliminated, it does quickly hustle us to our next match. We have what is going to be Gumiho versus Solar coming up next. We have 3 best of 3s done in less than an hour and a half. This group is going by way too quick. But lucky for us, guys, when we get to the round of 16, those will be best of 5s. So yeah, the round of 32, best of 3s, it feels a little short, but best of 5s in group stage 2, aka the round of 16, will make things feel a little bit better later on. Either way, while the players do their vetoes, I guess we'll head to a break. Before we do, big thank you to Sniper Soka for hosting us. And, they're just both one viewer hosts. But thank you guys both, nonetheless. I was going to quickly just drive home the Match Arena page, since we have a few moments here. If you guys could do me the kindness of just typing in !Match Arena into the chat. It'll bring you to this page, which let's just go through this together, shall we? Display capture, where are you? Whoop. Cool, display capture's not working. All right, well, forget that, guys. Just all you need to know is if you go to the Match Arena page and use the coupon code HOVER, they are the co-sponsor of this tournament, And if you use the coupon code HOVER, it'll add some money to the prize pool. But even cooler than that, since last night, Matcherino has souped it up even further. And if you guys subscribe to Ting's YouTube or follow Ting on Twitter through the Matcherino page, you can add up to another $1 on top of that. So it's $1.50 just by clicking a couple links. I hope you guys will consider checking it out. There's a lot of great ways to pump up this prize pool. We want to make, like, it's $4,000 to start, but I want this season to end like $5,000, $6,000. Give these players as much money as possible. It'd be pretty cool. But, oh, these bans and these picks. It's the same maps all over again, guys. It's Blue Shifts, Cerulean Fall, and Kairos. We'll get these hosted up in a second. Thank you, Zip Sirium. 43 months. It says, time flies. 43 already. That's like 3.5 years of great StarCraft 2 matches. And some awesome casting by the... You son of a bitch. We'll be back soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're in another match. This is the winners, however, so don't worry. Neither of these players will be eliminated from the tournament off of this best of 3 at least. And to answer Alaska Winter's question, no, I am not casting from somewhere else. I'm not sure why you keep asking, but I am at home. Spawning here in the upper right side of the map. Playing for Sidestorm Gaming. Once more, we have the Red Terran player, Gumiho.
And in the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the Korean Zerg representing Infinity Gaming. It is a one and only Solar.
I'm actually having some trouble right now, Roddy. Like the disconnect of, like we just watched Soo and Gumiho. I feel like 10 seconds ago, right?
I know. This has been going a little too fast. You know, I don't mind short action-packed games. Like for me, the most epic games are not always the 45 or 57-minute games where there is 20 minutes of downtime, because then people, I feel like they're focused more on the time on rather how actually epic the game is. Like I'm totally okay with like action-packed 12, 13, 14-minute games. Like I think that's fine. These games, however, some of them have been a little too short. So, but I'm expecting both these guys are tryhards, right? I feel like they always try hard, no matter what they play in. So I honestly think this is going to be our best of 3 of the day so far.
Yeah. Also, there's no score to update, guys. This is a fresh series. This is starting brand new. I know it's weird because of the way the last one went. Lone Silver Wolf 85, by the way, thank you for the $5. He says, I haven't slept yet. Been able to watch some awesome games hosted by the best. Ratataz. Get out. Thank you for the $5. But, you know, you said try hard. I think that's actually... A lot of people are going to see it as a derogatory phrase, obviously, but I'm actually in full agreement. Like, Gumiho rarely phones it in. He doesn't, like, just go for the proxy racks to get it out of the way, and Solar doesn't do it either. I would actually love if the contrast was TY and Soo was so fast that we instead get to see these long macro games with Gumiho Solar. It doesn't have to be 40 minutes with 20 minutes of downtime, but just, like, longer than 5 minutes would be great.
I think this is a good map as well. Obviously, when you think of good tank positions and stuff, and that's the first thing you think of in general when you think of Gumiho, if you ask me. But yeah, when I say tryout, I really mean it in the sweetest and the best way possible. These are not two guys that ever really show up at a tournament and just don't really try or show up with like, you know, half-ass builds where they're like, yeah, you know, all in, oh, I'm out, what a shame. Like, no, I always feel like whenever these guys sign up to participate in the tournament, they do their best and they really bring out, you know, maybe not always their A game, but at least the potential to bring out their A game. So in that way, I really mean try out in a complementary way, and that should give us some good games.
And I do want to kind of actually take some contrast back to the series we just watched, right? TY and Soo. I want to make, like, I don't want there to be any misunderstanding of this contrast we're drawing. I don't think TY phoned it in. Like, TY went for some cheesy strats that work for some players, but as I kind of referenced to Roddy during the break, that for me felt like Maru and SOS at BlizzCon. Like, Soo was just very prepared. He knew exactly what was coming, so he makes quick work of his opponent, who would have otherwise probably killed somebody, most other Zergs. So
yeah, obviously, like even when TY does the 2-rex, 3-rex, or 4-rex, it's still really hard to defend because, you know, 99% of the Zergs would absolutely fold and die to it. Even though it's so funny, right? Because the way that Soo dealt with it in game 2, he made it look easy. But yeah,
right?
obviously the mind games were involved there as well.
That just speaks to the character of Soo, and I'm excited to see how he does in the finals of the group. But the question is, of course, who wins this and who loses this to fight against Soo in that grand finals? We have the rematch versus Solar, possibly, or maybe Gumiho. Either way, Gumiho's going for the attack here, and Solar bringing it back to the game at hand, and there's should be enough to hold this, even with the armor, even with the Hellbats.
I really love the random 4 links that Solar is already sending out. I mean, obviously, we're going to focus on the Hellbats and the Medevac. That makes a lot of sense, but tiny chance there is a little bit of damage potential there for these Zerglings on the other side of the map. And that also makes it harder for Gumiho to focus on his Hellbat attack. So far, though, Gumiho's micro is pretty good. He hasn't lost a single unit left yet. But the Medevac took so much damage.
Spinecar finishes up, though. As long as he can keep these from running past the Queens into the main base, he should be okay. Medevac does finally go down. Hellbats are being kept in place.
The links?
Good hold.
What? The links? What happened?
Wait, yeah, on the other side of the map, they're still going. Wait, how did they even get to the main? Oh, the depots were just on auto down. Oh my god.
You know, I really thought that those 2 links were going to get shut down by the next 2 Hellions that Gumiho was producing. But he rallied those Hellions to the other side of the map as well. So he had nothing. He lost 2 mules and 10 SCVs to 4 SCVs.
I thought that was going to be like 4 SCVs max. Like, that is actually crazy. Well,
okay, the Banshee, well, I mean, there's a Sport Crawler finishing up as well. I mean, Solar is so far just shutting this down by Gumiho, man. And those 4 links are the MVP links of the century.
I blame Gumiho for not going for a Battlecruiser opener.
Oh, look at that Spore as well. The timing on all of these Spores while Cloak finishing up as well. You gotta be careful. This Banshee could go down.
Oh my god.
Close.
So very close. I gotta give it up for his Zergs today, Roddy. Like, Soo and Solar are bringing it against their Terran opponents. They know what they're doing. They're handling this well. Gumiho, by the way, you had talked a lot about mech during the TVT. Well, looks like we're gonna get some mech here in the TVC.
Yeah, but I mean, playing mech when you're this far behind, it just feels it's already a slow playstyle where you give Zerg a lot of time to drone up, you know, give him a lot of freedom. This feels that Solar is going to have an insane amount of freedom now. I really hope for Gumiho that he's going to be able to get something done with these Hellions. The Lings and Banes are out of position, so maybe this is his moment. Light him up.
Well, that was a good shot right there. Dives in to pick them up. A little bit dangerous to that medevac, taking a lot of heat. But he's following this up. Wait, he went for ground weapon upgrades, but he is going to be investing in Banshees. He's got Hyperflight Rotors and more Banshees coming out.
The Maru plays from WSG, all right. I actually thought that, I was like, he's getting smart service already. And it's like, no, you're right. That is Banshee speed, incredibly fast. Maybe he just feels like that is the one way for him to come back into this game if he gets a couple of speed Banshees out.
I guess, yeah, you're just playing the cards of whatever all-in deck you got. You know, there's a really sick game with Special and TLO yesterday. Special did like this, like, Hellbat. Like, it's basically this attack, but instead of Marines, it was Marauders with concussive shells. It was so sick. And I kind of feel like that would have worked better than what Gumiho did for this, unfortunately, because Gumiho came in so conventional, but oh my god, that is so many Hellions. And they do have +1 weapons, so they are going to be hitting a little bit harder than you'd expect.
It's weird, you can't call this an all-in, but this is definitely an attack that needs to do a lot of damage. I would say decent split so far, but...
Banshees are shooting an Evo Chamber, now getting in the fight a little bit late. I feel that's a lot of wasted damage. They did 300 damage to the Evo Chamber. That's 2 Queens that could have gone down.
That's true, but even if 2 Queens would have gone down, you still look at a Spine and a Spore. That really caused a lot of troubles there.
Shit.
There's more Links
Speaking of trouble
on the other side of the map as well, and Gumiho, I mean, things are going from bad to worse.
The SVs get pulled to block. This could have gone a lot worse, obviously, if the Hellions didn't respond the way they did. That could have been like another 10, 20 SCVs, but still, he's following up with more Links flooding across the map. Gumiho's going to have to stop these at some point, and it's going to be difficult to do that.
Yeah, and look at Solar. He's up 20 workers, and he also has money in the bank. Obviously, he missed a couple of his injects because he was using all of his Queens in the center there to defend against those Banshees and the Hellbats, but I mean, as soon as he really starts spending his money, he can go up to 4 bases. He's starting to produce Hydras right now. That's obviously a really good way to get rid of your bank. It's a flawless game so far out of Solar, man. He's just been able to shut almost everything down. Units, resources lost is like almost dead even. But that's a very deceiving stat when one player has clearly been mining way more than the other one.
Yeah, and plus it's not a mirror matchup too, so like there is going to be some weighted sides to this based on the pace of a game, workers versus mules, all that good stuff. But no, if you look at the income, it's just Solar all the way, man. Outside of the opening for this game, Solar, Solar, more Solar. Now 5 Banshees. This is the point where you're like getting to one-shot a lot of Hydras. You're going to be doing a ton of damage with how fast you can move from base to base. But Solar still has just some really concrete anti-air, like a lot of Queens. He still has those Spores. Those never disappeared.
Oh, they're going to fly over the Hydras as well. That would have been very ugly. You're spot on. I mean, and also, I feel like Blue Shift is a rough map to find openings, though, right, for these Banshees. Basically, whenever they would commit to go deep into a base, they have to leave over the other base as well. And that's never a really fun thing to look forward to when you're the air player, because you know you're going to be eating a few more shots by either Spores, Queens, or Hydras. I mean, for somebody with 5 Banshees, this is a very underwhelming amount of damage.
Right, and I feel like the bare minimum what he could do with these is like clean up creep or something, but not even that, right? Just looking for openings that he doesn't have. And that's the beauty of this map. Your back is against a wall in a way with your bases, so you don't have to worry about getting hit from that backside. But at the same time,
Gumiho, you could say, Riff, one thing real quick, is that Solar has not really been droning up past the point where he has been for the last, I would say, almost 3 minutes. So Solar is actually pretty committed to this attack.
Yeah.
If he completely butchers this attack, let's say all the Banelings line up and they get one-shotted by the Hellions. I mean, Blue Flame is not done yet, but figure of speech, then maybe there's hope for Gumiho.
All Gumiho has to do is snipe the Overseer, though, really, at the end of the day. Well, I mean, more than that, too. But if he snipes the Overseer, then these Banshees can just kill everything.
Maybe with Backfield Accelerator as well. That's a really good point, Riff. Yeah, there's only a single Overseer. That's crazy. Gumiho. I'm kind of starting to believe a little bit here. Okay, second Overseer is joining in, though.
I want to believe, too, but I don't want to be hurt, Roddy. He goes for the scan to keep the lock on. Second Overseer comes in. Blue Flame is seconds from finishing. This would be huge for the fight.
He just needs to lock on that next Overseer as well. And if he can get that... Okay, he locks
the Banelings.
All right, now the Banshees can just fight here. Now it all comes down to a little bit of micro with these Hellions and with these Cyclones as well. I mean, 26 SCVs going down really does hurt. But if he picks up all these queens and these hydras, where are the overseers, Solar?
So the Banshees are getting their work done. That's awesome. We got the Overseer trying to be morphed in, but the Cyclones lock onto it, so they're going to die. But, man, losing 26 workers on that base was tough. I want to believe for Gumiho, but I don't think he can pull this off with the amount of workers he lost.
I'm starting to believe a tiny bit. I mean, the next few overseers, obviously, they do really hurt, but...
Oh, nice splits.
I mean, this is still a couple of mech units. I mean, there's a little bit of mic potential. Oh, no, don't lose the Hellions like that. Damn it. I had a sprinkle of hope there because he was evening up the army supplies in the end.
Yeah, okay, like this is the ripple effect though. If he only lost those 4 SCVs instead of 10 SCVs at the early start of the game, and we played the game at the same pace, I think Gumiho actually had the better army, better tactics. Like it came down to the wire, and Solar was so far ahead going into that fight. Well, I shouldn't say it came down to the wire. Still pretty Solar dominated, but I'm really excited to see what Game 2 has in store for us because that was. If Gumiho doesn't make that same mistake, if he doesn't take those losses early on, I think we actually see an amazing mid-game out of these guys.
Yeah, and I think that Solar played a tiny bit risky there. Of course, in the end, guys, he won, and he did what he had to do. He had a very, very strong start. I love the way that he shut everything down in the beginning. Defense against the Hellbats was great. Defense against the Banshees was great. But he kept himself at 67 drones, and then he made a mass Ling Hydra bait attack of 67 drones. Now, obviously, if it works, it doesn't really matter. And it did work in the end, where he even brought a couple queens as well. But that was risky, man, because he's putting himself pretty all in. That is an army composition that, you know, you can hit once with. Okay, you're guaranteed to do damage, and then you can maybe say there is another wave. But if that wave gets shut down as well, and you're not on 82 drones, you're not on 5 bases, it becomes pretty ugly very quickly. So that was a little bit risky by Solar, but in the end, it did play off.
Well, guys, we're going to hop into Cerulean Fall. We got the intro for this one coming up. We'll see you in game. All right, folks, welcome back. We're hopping into game number 2. You're watching the Ting Open, of course, co-sponsored by Hover. To the top right side of the map, we have the Blue Zerg from Infinity Gaming. He's up 1-0. It's Solar.
And on the left bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the man representing Sidestorm Gaming. He had a rough start, but still had a couple of cool moves here on Blue Shift. It is Gumiho.
And of course, if you guys have just tuned in, or maybe you weren't quite paying attention to the brackets, I do want to highlight that this is the Winners Series. So whoever wins will be out of the group and goes through to the round of 16. Whoever loses will fall to fight against Soo in the grand finals for that last spot. Either way, we have one more best of 3 after this before the group is all said and done. And while it's been all too fast and sweet, just a quick casual thank you to Roddy for joining me today, guys.
It's been very quick.
Too quick.
But we're not done yet. I mean, often you have a quick day and then suddenly this 48-minute game shows up, so we may as well. But I think it's also the map pool, man. It's the maps that these guys keep picking. Like, I would actually love to see Gumiho play on Stasis. I think that would be really fun because I'm sure that he has some very cool stuff for us. And obviously, Solar is probably going to enjoy that a lot less. So I understand we don't see it, but give us something.
Right. I actually agree with you. I think it's the maps entirely. Part of this is them sticking to the older maps. We see Cerulean Fall and Blue Shift back to back to back because it's what they've played on for the last season. Obviously, they're going to be more comfortable on those maps. But it's just weird to me that Kairos Junction is the one that keeps slipping through for everybody. I don't have any problems with the map. I don't think it's broken for any race in particular. I'm just a little surprised that with the amount of times Port Alexander's been picked safely by everybody else, that somehow on Korea, Kairos Junction is the one that keeps getting through.
I guess for the Terrans, I can maybe understand it. They probably feel that Kairos Junction has a lot more choke points and better positions for tanks and stuff than Port Alexander does. Because as awesome as I think Port Alexander is, it is a pretty wide open map, right? There aren't that many choke points. There aren't that many sick positions for tanks that I can really think of. Anyway, Solar opened up with the spawning pool, guys, before the hatchery, and that allows him to get a couple of Zerglings out. The Reaper is unfortunately all the way on the other side of the map, and and that means that these links can just start going to town on this command center.
They might even get a full cancel here. SCVs get pulled. Gumiho's feeling a little desperate about this.
Yeah, I mean, he has to, right? He has to buy a little bit of time. The links are just gonna right-click on it. Now one SCV should obviously build. What? Why is he not building it?
Well, maybe misclick? I don't know. He gets the cancel, though. That's huge. Because for Gumiho, this stalls it out, but this also becomes a bad supply block he's approaching. He won't actually have the money to build a CC and get a supply depot, and he needs a supply depot now.
I'm shocked there, Riff. I really think that if he puts one SCV to just build that CC, obviously the moment you're building it, it gets extra health points again, and or hit points. And I really think that if he would have just had like 50 or 100 extra hit points there, which he easily had the time to get that on, he would have been more than fine, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. I don't know if it was a misclick or maybe it was panic, because in fairness, that wasn't a smooth situation, but a mistake was made at some point for sure for poor Gumiho, and that's tough. He's got to eat that loss. Now he follows up the game with a slightly later CC, that supply block, everything's just so nasty. And I say slightly later, actually really late. He still hasn't even started it.
I know, I think he's going for a one base all-in now. Believe it or not.
I'm excited for Soo versus Gumiho in the finals, Roddy.
Well, I mean, with Stim, sometimes these one base all-ins, you know, if you do have, it's probably Stim, Hellbat, one base all-in. That would, I think, make sense. It's the only thing that he can really afford as well, I assume. Make a couple headlines. He's getting an armory, so what else would you be getting the armory for? I mean, he's gonna need the micro of Maru and, I don't know, Maru channeled with someone else. The fusion of Maru and someone.
The luck of Bly and the micro of Maru.
Obviously, it would be very, very useful if you can push back the creep a little bit, because if you do have Stim Marines against slow banelings, off creep, you can micro that for days. If you're as good as someone like Gumiho, you will just never let those banelings get close. On creep is already a little bit more dicey, and it's also very important that he hides the fact that he did not rebuild this CC. Do you think Solar is aware of it?
You know what? Maybe not, because it's really unconventional for Terran to do a one base anything.
Oh my god. He's still building drones. I mean, he's building links right now, but he's at 49 drones against the one base of Gumiho.
Oh my goodness. And there's Hellions with this too. Of course, soon to be Hellbats, but this is a lot of Marines. And I think Stim is the big highlight factor here. I love that he's turning down the creep. He knows the banelings are his biggest threat right now. Target fire, target fire. No, goes for the Queens. A little bit of a mistake there. Actually, I'll say a big mistake, because he doesn't have that much to fall back on. And another
nice.
great Baneling connection and a Solar.
Wow, and the next few Banelings somehow connect as well. The Marine count suddenly isn't that high anymore.
Yeah,
wow.
GG.
What? Shut down.
I'm sick of these 2-0s, Roddy. I can't handle another 2-0. If Soo Gumiho in the finals is a 2-0, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
I mean, obviously this was a disastrous start for Gumiho, where somehow that command center got cancelled. I really felt that that's never supposed to happen. It's annoying, and you could end up losing a couple of SCPs, and the Reaper has to come all the way back home. But I think it was very savable. Then the one base all-in is obviously not a scenario you ever want to find yourself in. But I actually thought it had a little bit of potential. The Solar was at 49 drones. Obviously, Baneling speed was not even started yet, but yeah, even those Banelings had really good connections. I don't know. I've got nothing to say.
He did have the luck of Bly and the micro of Maru, but it was Solar who had it, not Gumiho. Either way, congratulations to Solar, who will be the first player through to the round of 16, and that's of any group, by the way, because of course North American finals don't play out until the 15th. So Solar is the very first player into the round of 16 for the Ting Open. Period. However, the next matchup we got coming will be the last one of the day. It's a best of 3 between Soo and Gumiho to see who the second player get out of that group's going to be. Also, fun fact, I was just looking at the stats while we were waiting on this, Roddy. I currently have, apparently, allegedly, this is again off of Twitch, more people tuning in from Roddy's channel, 47%, over the Team Liquid 32%. You are bringing more viewers to Team Liquid today.
What can I say, man? The diehard Roddy community, they're ready for another ladder stream where I lose all day. So.
Well, I thought this would be interesting and worth bringing up because, A, let's be honest, I got to buy a little bit of time, guys. If we have a 2-hour show, that's no good for anybody. But secondly, Roddy kind of was talking during one of the breaks with me about how, yeah, you know, he's not live, he's not hosting with a big 1,000 viewer host, but being offline and hosting another channel helps a ton. You know, your followers get to see that notification, or not the notification, on the list of like who's online and all that good stuff. So Shout out to the Roddy fans tuning in right now. Don't you dare use Roddy emotes in my chat, though. Cut that shit. No, I'm just kidding.
What? We've got beautiful emotes. Actually, I feel like I need to step it up again. Do you know what's annoying as being a Twitch streamer is that you're really happy with something and the way things look and the way things feel. And then after a while, you're always like, I need to refresh it again. You know, it's never good enough. You always want more, you always want to do better. Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean. But hey, are you ready to check out the sickest emote combo?
Sure.
Check out my favorite WCS casters in Twitch chat, guys.
I have to open the channel. I
gotta do it again? All right, 1 sec. All right. Do you have the chat open? You ready? Oh, someone cut it off. Guys, don't type haha while I'm trying to redo it from 4. Damn it. It's just going to be spammy now. I can't do it. Hang on. Maybe I can do it fast enough. It is.
I think
and
from
it looks...
now on, you're never going to get it.
I'm going to try, dude. Fuck you, Chabs. All right. Whatever. Guys, we're going to go to commercial break. Ruined. I know. This is the most active our chat's ever been when I'm trying to do something in chat. Of fucking course. We're going to go to commercial break. When we get back, we've got the group finals of Soo versus Gumiho. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this one will be a little bit longer than the last, but we'll find out after the break. All right, folks, we're back, but a quick peek at the bracket screen before we're really back, just so you can see what's been going on in case you've missed out on the day. Give a little bit of a shout out there to Ting Jeff in the Twitch chat. If you guys are unfamiliar with him, he's one of the newer members of Ting. They're helping Jesse run things and giving him a little VIP badge so it's a little easier to see in chat. If you got questions about Ting, he's probably one of the guys you can hit up for it. But Roddy, something amazing has happened for this last best of 3 today.
Tell me.
Look at the maps.
Oh, different maps.
Slightly different maps in fairness, but different maps nonetheless. We have Blue Shift first. That we've seen Blue Shift, that's not so surprising. But Parasite is going to be the second map, and then of course we go back to like Cerulean Fall if it goes to game 3. But Parasite changes things up, which is nice.
Parasite is a very surprising pick, but obviously Parasite screams mech to me, right? Like if Gumiho wants to play Bio against Soo, he wouldn't play Parasite because this is a very tough map to get it done on. Not impossible, because there are some good positions for tanks. So I think we're in for a very fun game too. But yeah, game 1. I mean, Blue Shift is normally a good map. The thing is, I feel Blue Shift is a tiny bit too tiny when it comes to the rush distance as well. And I think it makes comebacks on this map in general quite hard. And yeah, my bigger problem with it is that it's just Catalyst turned sideways. And it's not like Catalyst was a map that wasn't popular, right? Like Catalyst was already the most popular map for pretty much the entire year. Did Catalyst even make it to BlizzCon?
I don't think so.
No, I guess it got removed right before that. No, I think it did.
You might be right then. I don't know. I've been so focused on this map pool. I don't even remember what half the maps in the last pool were. I know we lost and Found, and that's all I remember because I liked Lost and Found a lot. But
like, I know that we had Catalyst at least for the first beginning of the year. Actually, for some reason, I cannot think of a single BlizzCon game that.
Yeah, I don't think it made it to BlizzCon. But just a quick note I want to address in the Twitch chat because, in fairness, this is a shitty comment, but it does lead to a really, I think, a positive message here. Of course, someone says nice overlap with Wardy especially after the talk of the Pylon show. So if you guys are unaware, Wardy and I work really well with one another, and we actually, for this particular day, we knew there'd be overlap. There was no getting around it. It was a schedule thing that we just couldn't push off. But what we did do to try and compensate was make sure we weren't sniping each other's players, right? As I said, I wanted innovation in this group instead of Gumiho, but Wardy had already secured him for his event, so rather than try to entice innovation with a bigger prize pool, I went for Gumiho instead. It's something where, yeah, it's not always perfect, and sometimes there is going to be overlap, and I'm trying to make up for it a little bit. We've talked about Wardy streaming a couple times today, and if you guys want some good matches, you can check his channel out. But it's one of those things where, yeah, we still do our best to work together, even though we can't always perfectly avoid overlap. That being said, today's going so quick, you'll probably get to watch Wardy's tournament very comfortably after this best of 3 is done. And it is this last best of 3 coming up. Gumiho and Soo are ready, so we're going to hop into Blue Shift. Thank you guys for joining us this morning for the Ting Open. Let's get into game. I love one of these times I'm just gonna like not mute so you guys can hear Roddy complain about Blue Shift. But so comments on the map I actually agree with. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's get the intros done first because this is the last best of 3 of the group. It's the group finals. You guys are watching the Ting Open, co-sponsored by Hover. Bonnie here in the bottom left to kick things off, playing for Asterion one more time today. We've got the blue Zerg player Soo. Oh, come on.
And the man that can't keep his SCVs in his own main base, even on Blue Shift, spawning on the right top side, of course, representing Sidestorm Gaming, great North American organization. It is the one and only Gumiho.
I'm just disappointed because I feel like Gumiho, this worked so poorly when TY did it. Gumiho must know that failed. Why go for it?
But he obviously has seen it, right? And I think that fake Roach Warren, that's a trick that works once, but I honestly think if you keep a close eye on the spawning pool, you will know whether or not that's realistic. Because you can't really squeeze out Roaches, Ravages, and Zergling speed at the same time. I actually have a feeling it's gonna work this time, Riff. That's my prediction.
I think, well, first of all, my voice cracked, Jesus. Secondly, it's gas pool. Hatch gas pool to be more precise. So just the setup for this already looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And Gumiho, he's not as known for proxying, I think, as a lot of the other Terrans, like Innovation and Maru and TY. They're all guys you think proxy with. Gumiho, not so much. You think mech, you think longer games. So in a weird way, this might be the sickest way to mind game Soo, just with the opening in game 1. Even if it fails, it sets the precedent for the rest of the series.
All right, the bunker gets thrown down. And now I run what Soo's going to do. So he drops the Roach Warren. This time I think it's a real Roach Warren. Because you can see Zergling speed is not on the way. That is a massive difference. And of course, if you're a new player to start with 2 guys, I don't believe this Zergling speed. That's a fake one. He's going to cancel it. I'm not buying it, Riff.
Whoa.
I'm not buying it.
Marines are not staying at the natural, by the way. They're heading up to the main base. I guess recognizing there's not a lot. Seeing no queen, for example, is a good sign. So he gets up here, he's going to grab a couple of the links. The SimCity, the spawning pool, is going to play against Soo in this situation.
I love the way that Gumiho does this. Gumiho also knows as well that I don't think Soo even wanted to make all these Zerglings. Soo wanted to save his larva for his Roadrunner. He might get the surrounder on these Marines. That's actually kind of nice. But now Marines coming in from the low ground as well. They're going to help out a little bit. Good micro by Gumiho, but he did lose a little bit of momentum there, right?
Ooh. On top of that, the SCVs, there's no repairs for these bunkers. A lot easier to break this.
And no extra bunkers now either. Do you think Soo's gonna break it?
I think he'll break the bunker, but I think he might still lose the hatchery for it. It's gonna take a long time to build those Ravagers, right?
I felt like he should have gone with drones, Roaches, Lynx, and Queens before the Ravagers. I think Soo made a mistake there. I think he should have gone before the Ravager.
He doesn't even put a transfuse in that too, by the way. He's saving that for the Queen. I like that move a lot, actually. More SCVs were brought, but a little too late, unfortunately. We can buffer a little bit for the Marines, but he's got to be in full retreat. No, wait, he's not. He's doubling down. Oh my god, he's going for double Marauder behind this.
Okay, that's actually crazy, because I think Soo is also doubling down. And he's like, yeah, I broke through, but I don't just want to break through. I actually want to kill you. I just want to rally units to the other side of the map and straight up kill you. This is getting really, really weird, because Soo is, there's no way he's expecting Marauders with concussive shells.
Right, Marauders alone are actually not that scary. It's the concussive shells that hold these units in place that are going to be a big deal. On top of this, Gumiho already killed the hatchery of the natural base, so he knows he's got a little bit more wiggle room than you would otherwise in this situation. This is crazy. He's going to break the bunker, or the wall. It'll take a few seconds, but he will break this.
And he's going to supply block him, right?
Oh, that's actually going to suck, because Marauders are really supply heavy too.
Yep. I mean, he's queuing up a few more units. So now, what is happening here? Is he just going to send all the SCVs to the other side of the map? Base
yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's go.
Float the CC and pray, I guess. All right, the drones are going to do really well against the Marauders, funny enough. Transfuse goes into the Roach. That's kind of nice to see. Marauders are kiting away, but they're actually dying. This is... I don't know how to call this. I think if the SCVs are here, I think Gumiho can take this fight, but they're not. They took so long to get across the map.
Soo's army is so big. He's got 37 army supply. That's insane.
I love that he split the concussive shells there too, by the way, so he could actually shoot both Roaches instead of one of them escaping. Every unit counts.
How's Gumiho gonna go up this ramp? I don't know, Riff. All right, Gumiho is gonna close his eyes. He's gonna go for it.
He's gonna pray, but it's not gonna be good enough.
That's not enough.
Ronnie, I can't have another 2-0 in the last 10 minutes. I just can't do it.
Oh, I feel like it started off very promising for Gumiho, but I think he maybe panicked a tiny bit once the Marines got surrounded. Like, he went in very deep with the Marines, and I think he had a good read on Soo's defense because he saw the pool, and it felt like that Zergling speed was fake. So he knew that the link count wasn't that high, then he forced out all the extra links. It's just that the moment he lost all the SCVs. Like, I think instead of going into the main base with all the SCVs, if he would have left one SCV on the low ground and built one more bunker, then I think he buys way more time for himself. Then he contains Soo, and then I think he could have won the game. It's a shame losing all SCVs like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Flexing my muscles 24/7, 420. The 4-month resub, great name. Harry Killer came in for 4 months too. Missed that earlier. Says nice Christmas tree. Nice Christmas tree fort. Oh yeah, do you like it? Put some time and effort into this, guys. Dub Berserker came in for 8 months too. Thank you for that. Torgrig for 6 and Dionacity for 25. I'm sorry, guys. We're kind of focused on how quick these games are going, so I'm not finding a lot of wiggle room to put shoutouts into these games. They're over too quick, goddammit. But we are getting into Parasite, and actually, fun fact, Roddy. Aside from the fact that this is the first time we're seeing this today, this is the first time I'm seeing the match, this map since Home Story Cup. Like, it has just been not picked or vetoed in everything we've been casting.
Oops. Sorry, mate. I didn't accept the invite. I was all tapped. I like
okay.
Parasite. It's honestly, Parasite is one of my favorite maps in the current map pool to play on. To cast, I don't know. It depends what kind of playstyle, I guess, what kind of matchup we see. But when it comes to playing ladder, oh my goodness, I just accidentally clicked on something. At least, hey, that's if you click on the collection tab, then at least it doesn't bug with your lobby invite. That's nice to know, right? At least that's what I said before I can.
I was saying before it bugs out. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
He's in the game. Soo says he's ready. Let's check with Gumiho. This could be it, guys. This might be the last one. I hope it's not. But we're going to hop into Parasite and find out. So thank you for watching as we hop into more of the finals. All right, guys, it's map 2. I hate it. Spotting on the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player repping Asterion, and up 1-0, we've got Soo.
Oh, Riff, what the hell? On the left top side, looking main base of the Towel Terran, representing Storm Gaming. I really hoped he was going to give us a long Mac game here, but that doesn't seem to be his intention. It is Gumiho.
You know, the style, Marine Lord actually for me set the stage for this. Other people will improve on it, of course. But I think opening with a battlecruiser going into bio or into mech is a better move than the proxy Rax meta that's going down right now. I'm just not a fan of this. And Soo seems too well prepared. This is he's held off 2 great Terran players who are really trying to turn the screws to him, I guess. But what blows me away is, in no world did I see both Zerg players getting out of this group, but that's the reality we're facing, where Solar is out in first place, Soo's looking good to be out in second.
Yeah, I mean, he still needs to defend this, right? And I think there is an argument to make for every single time he defended it. Like, I don't want to be overly critical, but I feel like he defends it a little bit in a gimmicky way. He rolls the dice, he takes a massive risk, and it keeps paying off. Now, obviously, that's the skill in and by itself. But I feel the flaw was more often on the Terran player than it really was Soo having an extraordinary defense. So maybe Gumiho feels the same way as I feel, where he's just like, all right, I'm sick and tired of either TY or me messing up the proxies. Soo, you're defending it in an incorrect way, and I'm going to punish you for it.
Well, one thing we've seen is a single bunker. Maybe we'll see a second one this time?
Yeah.
I
mean, be more careful, right? Like, I think the single bunker in the start is fine. It's just that he overcommitted with the SCVs into the main base. We'll keep a close eye on everything that's happening in the main.
He sees no queen. He sees no speed started up. He's going to miss the Roach Warren. Unfortunate.
But he already knows it, I think. I think he just knows because he didn't see the spawning pool wiggle. So at this point, he just knows.
Well, the hatchery's getting a little bit peppered here. A second bunker does come down this time. Buys a lot of extra time for the Terran. I love the SCVs even getting in on the fight. 5 damage. Go, go. Why is the SCV attack icon a gun when they use their drills? Blizzard, please. Can we fix this?
Okay, one SCV does go down. It's important to not lose all of them. That second bunker is not done yet, but I think this time, this is a very easy...
Well, he really...
hatchery.
He's diving for the queen. He almost got her.
Yeah, I feel like Gumiho is getting a little bit crazy here. Because now he's giving a lot of extra time to this hatchery as well. I do think this hatchery is still going to go down, guys. There are a couple of SCVs being produced at home. So Gumiho is looking to transition. Now he took both refineries, but he needs to buy a lot of time for himself, though, Rick.
Oh, boy. I love that there's micro on the Broodlings, by the way. I just want to quickly highlight that he actually microed the Broodlings. Oh, Chris Bell's going to hit one of the SCVs.
That's bad by Gumiho, man. These are these small things that's just not supposed to happen.
I mean, the sad thing is Gumiho, if he loses this, it's not just like, okay, he lost versus Soo. He's out of the tournament. He'll be in the bottom 32, not the top 16.
Obviously, I think it is safe to say that this is looking better so far. He's going to unload all of these Marines. He's going to dive on top of these Ravagers. He gets 2 of them quite quick. Ravager number 3.
Oh my god, if he gets the third one, this is so sick. Oh, he doesn't get it though.
But I mean, he bought a lot of time for himself there, right? By picking up 2 of these Ravagers. And I'm sure that he would love to pick up that other Ravager as well. The Queen is looking to transfuse it. Look at Gumiho. He's going to dive on this Ravager, but then he's going to get it transfused. He's going to live in a very sad world.
So he is microing around the bunker. He knows how important this is. There's a follow-up to this, though, and I want to highlight 2 very important things. Command center on the high ground, but a bunker to go with this. So if this does break, and it looks like it will, Gumiho should not die to the counterattack from this. And then it's up to Soo on whether he wants to measure this to be an all-in, or, well, he's actually droning, so might just end up throwing out a hatchery. And there you go.
And he bought way more time for himself this time, and he obviously got the kill on the hatchery as well. He's up in workers. So I actually feel everything I said in the beginning of the game made some sense here, Riff. Like, this wasn't just Gumiho doing it for the sake of doing it. As awesome as it was to see Soo defend multiple 3-racks, 4-racks, he was rolling the dice a little bit, right? Like, he was hoping for mistakes of his opponent rather than having the most possible solid hold there is. And I think this time he shot himself in the feet a little bit, because this time his mind games did not work. This time he was just... Yeah, sorry?
It got him to where he is now, though, right? So it's not even that bad. Like, okay, yeah, 1 loss versus, like, 4 great wins.
No, of course. Once again, I don't want to take anything away, but I understand Gumiho's thought process. Being like, hey, man, you're defending this in ways that I don't think you're supposed to defend it. If you really want to deal with it like that, let's do it one more time. This time, I'll make sure that I'm ready. Now, the tank is out, and that tank should be able to keep Gumiho safe for a long time.
I love that he went for that 3rd CC, by the way. You talk about Soo rolling the dice. That's a little bit on Gumiho, too, right? If Soo was committing to this in a different way, then maybe this is a greedy move. It costs him 400 minerals, but because of the way the depots break, that command center is going to unsupply block him in the best way possible.
And allows him to call down for supply depots as well if he truly needs it. I mean, with 3, you don't really want to drop triple Mew on 1 base, right? Because then you're going to mine out your main base literally within 2.5 minutes from now. Well, I guess it's nice to some degree, but...
Medevac micro the tank? Alright, that's kind of a cute move. Projectiles and the Ravagers won't hit.
That reminds me of when Raynor played his sick ZVT on Dreamcatcher against the Terran in Montreal. And at one point there was this Terran, I forgot who it was, he had 2 tanks in the medevac. It was either Special or Utomo, I guess. He was chasing down the army, and then Raynor just dropped a whole bunch across the bows. And then the first thing he asked me after the game, he's like, hey, what happened to the medevac? Did I kill it? We're like, yeah.
Yes, I got to see that game. I know exactly what you're talking about now, yeah. It's in the middle of the map, yeah, I remember that.
But he couldn't see it because of all the side blockers, so he was just spamming corrosive balls, hoping to get lucky. And then he got the medevac with 2 tanks inside of it.
That was hilarious. That was a good game. But actually, I want to... So, going back to the 3 racks for just a brief moment, right? For those who are watching, like, a 3 racks isn't an all-in for Terran the way it used to be. The same way 12 pools isn't an all-in for Zerg, right? It's something where Gumiho is actually probably totally okay with this outcome. Like, okay, he doesn't win the game with the 3 racks, and that sucks a little bit, but he's in a position where he can play macro. He's on 3 bases, and he's got... I think a lot better chances against Soo than anyone else has so far today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he puts himself now in a very, very good position. It's very playable. Sure, the Spire is going to come out, and there's a good chance that Midas will find some damage, pick up some reinforcements, yada, yada, yada. We know how it goes. But Gumiho has all the time in the world to get ready for it. He's about to drop as well, so that should give him a good heads up. Okay, I don't like this drop. What is this?
It's the donation.
Yeah. Like unloading right in front of a couple of roaches. Oh, I think he just wants to see. Where is that Spire anyway? Okay, it's in the back of the natural. That's kind of a good spot. Hard to scout, I guess.
Well, the Viking might see it. Pushes up past this Overlord. I got him, Coach, by the way. Thank you for the prime sub.
He's pushing out. He's got Sim. Okay, I kind of like this. It feels like he knows it's Spire play without really seeing too much. He knows that the army is not that impressive of Soo. Soo doesn't even have link speed, so obviously it was hard for Soo to see this move out, and he still doesn't know. This is the first time he makes 5 Midas. That's not gonna help at all.
I like too the way Gumiho was scouting ahead with the medevac. Really tended to burn a scan too soon. Down top of the hatchery, Soo's forced to fight, defend the hatchery, or lose the army. Take your pick. Either way, it doesn't go well for Soo. Oh, he dives in for the Ravagers. I love this focus fire out of Gumiho. 2 Marines in the backside too. They're killing the drones while this goes on. I think that's it. I mean, the supplies don't look that bad, but the mutas can't stop this.
Gumiho is playing awesome. There is a Viking as well in the back of the natural of Soo that already got 8 kills. So 9 kills at this point, so that Viking is going absolutely ham. He's forcing a lot of lost mining time. I mean, this is an awesome push by Gumiho. Great game overall. I really loved it.
The 11 kills on this Viking too. Oh, he lifts it too to save it. It's not even all drones. It's like a couple overlords too. Like this Viking has paid for itself 3 times over. The tanks realize they're not going to get out alive. It's really annoying
to deal with that kind of stuff. Look at the tanks. They're going to unsiege. They're going to get the hatchery as well. And
I love it because he couldn't walk home. He'd get picked off by the mutas. He knows it. He just did so much damage to Soo. All he has to do is hold on, not die to this counterattack, and Gumiho's got this in the bag.
Yeah. Well.
GG. There you go. Held on.
Held on. Great defense there by Gumiho. Absolutely impeccable.
We're going to our first game 3 of the day, by the way. I just want to really highlight that too.
Save the best for last. What is it? Cerulean Fall?
Yeah. Oh shoot! I just made the wrong map. 1 sec. Yeah, it'll be Cerulean Fall for the final map. Once I get out of this.
Okay. So now I really wonder. It almost felt that maybe was Gumiho just trying to prove a point. You know, being like, hey, I know you're defending these 3 Rexes, but honestly, that's not the way you do it. You know, because obviously if you think back of Cerro, right, of Cerro Innovation, and you see the way that Cerro tried to deal with it with links, micro, drones, prevent the bunkers from going up. I think that's technically the most legit way in dealing with it. Any other way, there are ways to deal with it, but you're always going to be behind as a Zerg player because it will include losing your natural. And if you lose your natural, you are behind. That's just the way it is. So I think that Gumiho just tried to prove a point there. But now I do truly hope that we just get a normal game. I've seen enough barracks being built on the other side of the map, Riff.
Somehow I feel though that like winning the game after having done those barracks is just going to cement his reason to do it further, especially on a map like Cerulean. But
there is a ramp though in Cerulean, right? Like I think the one thing you can say for Parasite is that you don't have to go up a ramp once you're in the natural. Obviously, it is a massive map, and Cerulean is a lot smaller. But I think one of the key things about what makes a good 3-Rex map is, do you have to walk up a ramp or not? And if you obviously lose high ground vision, things can get very ugly. So I don't know.
I will say that I'm with you. I want to believe in a macro game is my point. Like I believe that my belief is strong enough that I hope it happens. Regardless, guys, I know what I'm saying is not making a lot of sense. Let's just hop in a game. It's Cerulean Fall, last game of the day. All right. Savor this moment, ladies and gentlemen, because it's the only time you're seeing a 1-1 on the scoreboard. It's game 3 for the finals. Ting open. Let's get into it. To the bottom left for the last time today, we have Asteriad's blue Zerg player, Soo. God damn it.
No. Rip.
Don't even introduce him. I don't want you to do it. He doesn't deserve it.
Well, no, it's different. It's different.
Oh, it is. It's only one, yeah.
All right, over here on the right top side of Cerulean Fall, we're looking at the main base of our Korean Darren representing Storm Gaming. It is Gumiho.
And because it is the last time today, guys, once more, big shout out to the sponsors, both Ting, Hover, and Matcherino, all making this possible. Go to bttv.ting.com if you want to learn about Ting. It's a U.S. mobile phone service. If you want to check out Hover, it's hover.com/bttv. And last but not least, if you go to Matcherino or type !Matcherino in the chat, coupon code HOVER, and this was scouted.
Yes, it was scouted, and the drones are being pulled. Now I just wonder, though, is there enough? I actually think that maybe the SCV can get this done in time. I think
the nerf to building with an SCV, though, right? Like you can actually click it through the buildings. It'll make it really hard for Gumiho to finish this, and he needs to finish this.
Oh, he needs to go fast. He needs to go fast.
One more hit. He does it.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Okay. To really highlight for the non-Terrans out there, this is so important, not for the Reaper, but because of the Orbital. If this gets delayed, he can't afford to really cancel this and start it over at home. This was a huge loss if this didn't finish up.
well, that wouldn't even just be delayed. You would have to start all over again, right? Because the moment that SCV gets picked off, there is no second SCV there. That barracks is never going to finish up. So, yeah, that was as close as it could have possibly been for Gumiho. But it worked out. That's in a way actually quite nice, right? Because Soo didn't have that many drones yet. So obviously he lost a little bit of mining time there as well. You can actually see that, yeah, this was good for Gumi.
Yeah, but man, that SCV, you could try and do RNG all day. There's a world out there where that did not work out for him.
Oh, of course. I think more than one even, but that's totally okay, right?
Yeah. Well, the Reaper's hopping around. Obviously, there's not a lot that can deal with it right now. When the Queens come out, it's a little bit easier to hold, so he's got a free reign for the time being. But, of course, as we highlighted, this wasn't your typical 3 racks. He's actually playing this out at home. Command Center's almost done. Factory's finished up. I'm excited to see what Gumiho does for this game, and I'm praying that it goes longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good setup for a much longer game. And I think we deserve that as well after a day like today. Obviously, not every day you can have the sickest series of all times. It's kind of what it is with StarCraft. But especially TY, I think it is safe to say that we expected more of TY today.
Yeah, TY was
he brought it up in himself, right, for being such a legend. If he was always bad, then we wouldn't expect that much. But since he is so freaking good, we obviously hope to see a little more. But I've got a good feeling about this game.
You are correct. I was going to say, though, well, TY was kind of the disappointment in terms of like what's happened in the group. What was really interesting was, well, yes, a lot of 2-0s are typically sad. Some of those 2-0s were really sick. Like the way Soo defended some of the 3 racks, guys, Zergs, go study that shit. Like that is so cool being able to pull off moves and think ahead like that.
Look at this, by the way. 3-minute, 30-second lair. What do you think about that? What do you make of that?
I think it's almost as cool as a 4-strength, 4-CM leather belt. That's a bad reference. Don't worry about it. I think that this is actually really weird, to be honest, and I'm curious what his plans are for it. Mutas have gained a lot of traction in the matchup, but I don't think you rush out Mutas in CVT.
2 base? I mean, if you're cats, maybe.
Yeah,
cats and Destiny.
Soo does have a history of working with both cats and
That
cheats.
is true, actually. Yeah, the Spore Crawler on Habitation Station.
Yeah.
Just like the overlay.
That's a throwback right there. That was cool. I love those days.
So Gumiho does spot this hatchery.
So
double factory.
Like maybe a Nidus or something, but even then, no Roach Horn paired up with this. Like I'm trying to figure out what his plans are for it. It's Aspire, okay.
It's Aspire.
Yeah, the thing is, Aspire against a mech player used to be the greatest thing you could do because early game Terran anti-air is garbage, right? But the new Cyclone is actually really good at killing Mutalisks. Like, Mutalisks have so low health that the Cyclones tear through them faster than they tear through the Cyclones a lot of the time. So, I think as long as Gumiho gets, like, a Cyclone or 3, no amount of these Mutas will be scary, like, at all.
Oh, really? I'm curious to see how that plays out. Obviously, you know, Cyclones are sick, especially with Mech Field Accelerator. This is the ultimate tell, by the way, that most likely Gumiho is playing Mech here, if Soo wasn't sure yet, as there's a barracks floating in his natural. No, we'll see. Is he going to get Mech Field Accelerator almost immediately? Does he spawn this fire?
Mech Field Accelerator won't help him, is the thing, right? It's only going to be good against the Roaches.
Riff, how did that freaking barracks not see this fire?
Yeah, I just checked the vision for that. That's going to hurt. However, he's still building anti-air, and I think this comes with the paranoia of playing mech. You know, someone in chat says, who's going to build Cyclones into mech, or into Mutas? And it's not that you build the Cyclones versus the Mutas. You build the Cyclones because you don't have anti-air.
Oh my god, this is actually a little bit dicey there. The Queens are way out of position. There is so many Hellions going to the main base. Oh my goodness. Soo's going to end up losing so many drones.
I thought he was pulling drones. That's just a big rally from the production cycle. 14 drones go down. 15 drones go down. What's worse yet is there's a Liberator follow-up to this too. Oh god, he's getting even more.
That these Hellions have no HP, the Reapers have no HP, and somehow get 5 more drones over there.
Oh, and there's the reveal, by the way. If he didn't catch the Spire, now he knows. 21 drones died in the process of making this Muta.
Yeah, that's very, very painful for Soo. And that was very smart by Gumiho, though. Great movement on the Hellions. He saw the links and he's like, okay, I gotta be careful. Then he got a couple of volleys off on the links. He's like, I feel there is potential. Then he spotted all the Queens being that far out of position, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and dive in, because if all you have is links and Queens and the link count isn't high enough and the Queens are out of position, I'm gonna have a good time here. And he was right.
Can we talk about the balls on Gumiho, by the way? He's recognized that it's mutas and queens, yet he still sends the Liberator into the main base, and there's no Spore Crawler, Roddy.
I mean, obviously, Soo doesn't have money for that kind of stuff right now. Soo has a lot of money in the bank. He was supply block. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Hellions are going to dive in again as well, Riff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with 1,000 minerals in the bank, he was hoping, I think he just wanted to hold down the Mutalisk button, right? Now he's making a transition out of this, but, like, build 3 spores or something, man. This is going to get so much worse before it gets better. That Liberator is camping in the main.
35 drones went down. 1 SCV went down this game. That was the SCV that was building the barracks in the beginning.
The barracks SCV, yeah.
Oh my god, it takes forever for that Liberator to even go down. Look at these queens. The queens are gonna have a tough time, I think, even against all these Cyclones, man. These are Cyclones with Macfield Accelerator as well.
I mean, Macfield Accelerator will tear down that hatchery, but the queens at least will not take that bonus damage. Transfusing what they can, though, they still take a lot of damage. I mean, it is, even without the upgrade, it's still 400 damage over 14. Oh my god. What the fuck? That was through a transfuse, too. That made it look like nothing. That was a hot knife. You remember on YouTube, there's like that fad of like a hot knife through anything? That's what we just watched in StarCraft.
Yeah, I mean, Soo is absolutely getting smashed over here. Things looked very good for him after the first game. Obviously, he had a good reaction, a good hold early on, but game 2 and 3, it really feels like it's all been Gumiho. And I gotta say, man, you gotta give a lot of credit to Gumiho for once again going for the 3 Rex on Parasite, just being like, all right, I know where I messed up. That's not gonna happen again. I really feel you're defending in a gimmicky way. And then in game 3, it's like, all right, now we even up the score. Let's play an actual game of StarCraft 2. And I mean, Gumiho has been all over this map so far.
These Cyclones going to the main base.
He could snipe the main, probably, right?
Right, that's what I was thinking. He might just be able to target down the lair.
I would love to see this.
Me too.
He scans, and now the queen's out of position. I would love to see him just go for that lair. Why not? With 4 Cyclones, units out of position, let's go, Riff.
This is like an immortal drop from Protoss, but like sicker. Lock-on gets burned. Yep, there we go. He focuses down the hatchery. My god, each of these Cyclones are doing 800 damage. Keep that in mind, guys. Like, this is gonna die. He's gonna get it. Get the fuck out, Gumiho. This is so sick.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, the mutas will show up and the medevacs will go down in the end. But if you ask me, absolutely worth it. If it wasn't for the economic damage, it is for the style points.
You know, as funny as this has been, there's still a problem for Gumiho. Like, he's just done a tremendous amount of damage sniping off that layer. But anti-air is still a little bit sketchy. He doesn't have that many Cyclones. Thor is not good anymore against mutas.
He's got so many turrets, he's got Viking. He's gonna be more than fine, man. I think he's gonna hammerlock on this game. He's got a couple of Blue Flame Hellions on the ground as well. So then, I mean, obviously the Lings are not gonna achieve a lot. I think Soo is gonna build nothing but roaches and all in. He knows, obviously, that if this game drags on and on, he is ultra dead. So Soo knows, after all the damage he took, it's now or never for him, Riff.
Well, I'm praying. He's gonna have to do a lot of work. I think though. Oh, nice catch here on one of the turrets. Loses a muta for it though, not so good. I was gonna say one of his best assets though for those mutas was that if he draws Gumiho out of position, if he draws him away from the tanks, maybe the mutas coming from behind, even though they're protected by turrets, you can still pick off the tanks. But to highlight what I was talking about with the Thor really quick, for those who have not been following, the Thor lost its bonus armor, so it's a little bit squishier.
Oh, this is... Sorry, Riff. 1 sec, real quick. I mean, Gumiho doesn't know that Soo is all-inning. He thinks that Soo is trying to recover economically. And if he loses this army, he's in a tiny bit of danger of dying to the counterattack. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
Oh, he was so close to getting behind him. If he had been able to cut Gumiho off right there, that would have been a destroyed army for sure. But the only other point I was going to make is the Thor splash damage radius was reduced too, so you can't even hit the cluster of mutas. It's just not a great unit now. Not what it used to be.
I really think that Soo should have tried whatever he could to possibly jump on that. He's going to jump on these tanks, and he's going to get the missile turrets as well, but... I mean, this is it, Riff. It's now or never for Soo. There's absolutely no transition behind this. He needs to win the game.
Oh my god, there's so many missile turrets! If that was like 1 turret, Soo could have just like killed it and killed the SCVs, but the 4 missile turrets and this Thor's a little bit much. Vikings are here now too. Roaches are not doing bad on the ground though. You know what? A lot of the tanks have been broken.
Yeah. The roaches are actually starting to do some serious work.
Get out.
Those last 2 tanks are very important here for Gumiho. And actually, both of them are going to go down as... No way. Come on.
What is happening right now? He spent so much money on turrets. I guess he's got less army supply? Question mark? Like, Corrosive Bile hits the tank. I mean, the minutes are gone. That much is done. We know that they're gone. Tanks on the high ground should hold.
He has no high ground vision. There's 2 more tanks showing up.
Back away, back away. Just back away. He killed the armors. Bring the tanks to you.
I mean, the thing is, it's still 4-base Gumiho, right? I mean, Soo does not want to give up. He's got a lot of money in the bank. He is building queens.
It's 4-base, but he killed 30 SCVs. Like, he really called the numbers on this one. He's going to kill the armories, too. That's going to really stifle Gumiho's production going forward in terms of upgrades and stuff.
Oh, there's so many tanks on the high ground. He still doesn't have high ground vision. Now he gets high ground vision. He's gonna go for these tanks as well. Gets the first. Gets tank. No,
oh no, he lost vision. He can't get the last tank.
Yeah.
Oh, where's an overlord when you need it? Jeez.
But he killed even more SCVs, like you said there as well. Look at that. Couple of links in every single base. That's a really sweet play by Soo.
He's
I
down
love
to 25 workers.
Okay, that's really sick. But can he transition? Well, yeah, I guess.
I think Soo's in a pretty good spot right now. At least a lot better than he was about a minute and a half ago, right? Like, that attack was so critical to him even being able to play this game out.
So even though he didn't catch that army in the right bottom side, Gumiho was still out of position, and Soo just immediately realized where his only opportunity was. That was jumping on those 2 tanks that were a little bit exposed and those 2 turrets. And now suddenly Soo is on 5 bases, still has money in the bank. Oh my goodness, by the way, he was still on hatchery tech.
That's right. Oh, that's right. He lost the layer. I forgot about that. On top of that, too, great creep spread, gotta say. He didn't slack on this while this was going on. So, I mean, Gumiho, he's not dead in the water just yet. But Soo also, without layer attack, like, can he actually get an army that can finish this?
That's so many tanks. That's so many tanks, Soo. That's so many tanks. He's gonna go for it.
There's 5 cyclones at a time being produced behind this, so even if he breaks the tanks, the cyclones should hold. Costs him a lot, takes out a lot of the tanks, but he's not going to have that high ground vision. He can't do this. Overcommitted.
But, I mean, since he is economically in a somewhat decent position, maybe that was not the end of the world? I don't know. I mean, obviously it looked ugly, but... You know, the only shame for Soo is that he didn't pick off one of the orbitals. If he would have just been able to pick off one orbital, just one, then I would have truly loved his position. Now I still think it's a little bit dicey, but on the other end, these mech units, they don't have the 6 carry upgrades though. Oh my god. More bases are gonna get sniped by cyclones.
I kind of like that he did that earlier. I'm surprised he didn't keep up with some method of that. Maybe 1 cyclone on the side or something, but...
Back to Muras, maybe? Mass Mura?
Maybe Swarm Host too, or you just go straight to Hive Tech and look for Broodlords. Soo's got money. That's the thing right now, right? He's got a lot of choices he can make. He's not larva starved. He is very intentionally banking, thinking about what he wants next. So this might just be like 8 Swarm Hosts getting pumped out, or it's a Hive Tech.
There are 4 Vikings landing on the right bottom side. Well, Riv, I think it's safe to say we saved the best for last, man. Okay, we had a couple of one-sided short games, but this is a real nail-biter. It's so hard to say, actually. Like, who is this good for? I mean, Soo doesn't have great upgrades, but he does have more money right now. Technically has a base up as well over Gumiho. Even that base on the right side suddenly feels a little bit exposed. Maybe roaches can start being annoying from the other side. No, never mind, Cyclone's are going to clean this up. 16! Swarmo, 16!
Told you he had that money, Roddy. You know what's great about this too? It's not really a lot to threaten the Swarm Hosts. Cyclones can be good, but he doesn't have that many of them. So much of this has gone back into tank production. Vikings and Hellions. So these Swarm Hosts should be good for Soo. I actually got a lot of faith in them. And 2-2 on the way to match that.
And what does he do after that? Do you think we even see a Hive in this game, or is it just going to be Swarm most Roach?
I gotta imagine the end game for all Zerg is, you know, get to Broodlords, but it's how do you get to Broodlords, right?
I mean, Gumiho is about to see these Swarmos for the very first time. And last year...
You know,
never mind.
First up, great song. Secondly, a lot of the Korean Zergs use their Swarm Hosts in a weird way. I don't like this. The Soo just did it. All at once. He goes all in with the Swarm Hosts instead of staggering them half and half. So now he won't have them to fight with afterwards. Maybe he kills the planetary, but then how do you stop the push? Gumiho's going to know this too. He's got 45 seconds of freedom where there's not going to be any more locusts. So he just pushes forward, and these Cyclones are tearing through all the roaches, all the Ravagers.
You're absolutely spot on, and a lot of these roaches indeed have gone down already, and they're gonna spawn all over the place as well. Soo getting a little overeager there to finally kill a base. I understand the excitement, but he really needs to clean up. Now you gotta say though, Gumiho is very deep.
7 seconds.
couple cyclones are actually locking on these swarmos. Where are these
Melting them.
locusts? What?
It took so long to come off cooldown. That's the half and half I'm talking about for this one, right? Oh, he's...
What?
Oh, he gets baited. He gets baited. He lands them on the wrong side because they auto-attacked into the units that were on top of him. Soo is going to totally die to this. It's going to take too long to use the Locust again. 20 seconds.
He cuts off the reinforcements. He got a couple Hellions, but that was bad by Soo, man. He spawned all of those Locusts on the north side, besides 2 or something. Now he ends up losing 2 bases. There's one more base being attacked on the left side as well. Obviously, Gumiho is low on economy too, but... Wow. What a clown fiesta of a game.
Yeah. I really like the Swarm Hosts. I just don't like how Soo used his Swarm Hosts. That being said, like, Gumiho is falling back. He's not actually pressing for the win.
Well, he's gonna get one more hatchery there as well. Did you see that? He had sick tank micro. He's just dropping left and right. Apparently, there's another base on the left side of the map that I haven't even seen yet. Neither did Gumiho, by the way. And that is very... Okay, he's gonna spot it now. That's very important for him.
Oh, and the tanks can pick this off. While this goes on, the Locusts, where are they flying? He was hoping to find a base to pick off, but now it's not worth it. He's used and wasted the cooldown of these Locusts.
Man, this is not the best Swarmos play I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. If he loses this hatch, that could be it, right? And it's Curtis. He has no income anymore.
Yeah.
He needs to keep this hatchery alive.
He can't even build a new one. GG.
Wow.
Oh my god. After a hell of a performance, Soo will be the one to fall, and Gumiho will be the one that advances out of the group.
Ah, mind blown. In a game where he's like 99% dead, he turns it around. He has a sick attack, does a really good job in hiding the fact that he goes for an all-in. And it wasn't a quick roachling Muda all-in anymore, no. It was so late that Gumiho thought there is 0 chance that this is ever a roach attack. Then he catches Gumiho off guard, does an insane amount of damage, gets himself in a really good position. And then those last 2 minutes of the game just happened. I don't know.
I'm kind of like... I'm okay with everything going so fast to get that really sick last series of the day. But man, as a Soo fan, I am really sad. I think Swarm Host, again, right move, wrong execution.
Yeah.
And the one that really hurt too wasn't even the way you used the Swarm Host at first. Right there towards the end, the one you highlighted, like where you cut off the reinforcements, that wasn't even his choice. He didn't have time to react because the second the Swarm Hosts were, or the Locusts were in the air, they come down to auto attack the first thing they can. And like he couldn't have microed that even if he wanted to, and he tried to but couldn't. Oh.
Yeah, he just shouldn't have spawned all of them, right? I mean, technically he had 3 big waves there. The first big wave, he used everything to kill that planetary, which was not the right choice because he could have traded very, very well with that army. And obviously, because he used everything, he was very vulnerable to the counterattack. The second wave of Locusts he used indeed all on the north side, while all of those units from Gumiho were on the high ground. So he used almost all of his Locusts to shoot at 3-4 Hellions and a couple tanks. Sure, that was nice to pick off, but he could have done the same thing with like 12 Locusts and then use the other Locusts to go towards the south side. And then even that final wave, he completely butchered it, and then he didn't have any units at all to keep his last hatchery alive.
Well, there's a lot of crazy things that happen, but that ultimately ended up being a pretty, I'd say fun, way too fast, but fun group. And thank you, Roddy, of course, for joining me for it. I really appreciate that, man. Obviously, everyone knows who you are, but what not everyone might not know is that you stream all the freaking time. If you guys want to check out more Roddy, because I know if I ask him to, he'll be like, oh, you're too nice, Riff, don't do anything. So I'm just going to say it for him. Follow him on fucking Twitch, guys. Follow this man on all of his streaming dreams and support him, because he is one of the, like, real talk, no feeding his ego. He is one of the biggest player streamers right now, which is awesome to see, too. Plus, the guy's got a couple of Go for StarCrafts under his belt. I mean, what a badass.
Yeah, the Thursday edition, though, guys. Don't get too crazy. The Sunday one
I left
is
that part out.
Yeah, no. It's fun. Like, I do try to compete, but obviously I've been a little bit busy lately, and I've been traveling a lot as well. So I feel at this point I'm kind of like in a chill phase in my stream where I honestly don't want to use my brain too much, and I just kind of want to press buttons and play. But yeah, I stream a lot, guys. So if you obviously want to see some Protoss gameplay, everyone is welcome. I do my best. I have good days, bad days, like every human being. But try to have fun with it. Thank you for having me today, Riff. I had a lot of fun. Even though we had a lot of short games, I still thought we had a very good ending there, so I'm happy.
Yeah, thanks again for joining, dude. I really appreciate that. I enjoy hanging out with you, of course. That being said, guys, we are not done with all Ting-related stuff. We are for today. This is the end of the cast. Quick, again, here's the brackets for those who missed out. But we've got the European groups going over the next couple days. Wardy will be joining me for that. That'll be 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm not sure what that is in Europe. You guys will have to do the time conversion. But you can check out our events tab at the top of the stream or on Team Liquid for more information. The next couple days are going to be three different European groups, and then on the 11th and the 12th, I'm back with Snooped as my co-caster for some more Korean group action. So if you guys are hungry for more StarCraft, you want some good Ting stuff, people say, oh, December's a dead month, everyone wants to go on holidays. No, we got so much StarCraft coming up on the channel. So please make sure you hit the follow button. That way you get alerts, you get notifications. Make sure you join us on our Discord server for more good communication between when we're casting. But again, thank you, Roddy, for joining me. I'm going to actually segue this into a sponsored stream, guys. But before I do that, I would like to really send you Wardy's way. So if you guys are looking for more StarCraft 2, Wardy, Crank, and Naruto are all casting. 2018 has left the game. Looks like at the moment it's Creator versus Bunny. So if you want to check that out, head on over to Wardy's stream. But I gotta go set up the sponsored stream, so thank you guys for watching. It's a bounty. If you guys are not interested in StarCraft, but you are in this game, but you're interested in supporting the channel, money from these bounties helps fund a lot of the tournaments we're doing right now. It's great money too, so I hope you'll stick around. Even if you're not watching, just leave the tab open. I'd really appreciate it. But Roddy, thanks again, man. Take care. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Thank you for having me. Peace.